Alrighty, I think we're already live. Once again, we still don't have an intro, but we are live and we're ready to rock and roll, I guess, on this fine Columbus Day holiday evening. Real quick side note, we might have something cool to show for our efforts over here, but good news is right now, the automated astro imaging is doing whatever it's supposed to do. So, I'm just going to leave it be. Right now, we're doing 10-minute exposures in hydrogen alpha. We've already covered the... Hey, why is that guy in the corner? I got to fix the setting. But as you can see, we got red, green, blue, hydrogen alpha. And I got my my little pilot guy. I got to disable him. Because I want to be on... I want to be on camera, not this guy. I mean, he's cool too. Ooh, he stole my green tape. Just... Yep, see, look, my arm disappears. Oh, all right, goodbye, pilot. He's a good pilot. He's very dutiful. See, this is actually, so yeah, step one or part one of this is to talk about OBS. I just want to see something here. You can see my hand disappears and reappears, and that's because I'm toggling a source. And I do see James on the YouTube, but I don't see James on YouTube. What is that about? Look, see, look, it says David Glenn, Amber M, but nobody else. How and why? Are they filtering out Amber M? Is Amber M a, oh wait, oh my goodness, David Glenn, oh, oh, I didn't scroll down, okay, good. Wait, might be a glitch. Might be a new stream key. Checking. So, I think I have David Glenn in a different chat than the rest of y'all, so... I must investigate. Yeah, okay, so, damn, how did that happen? All right, we got to fix that. We're going to fix it up right now. All right. I don't know why that is, but we need to fix that. So, see, this is actually not what I intended to cover, but this is worth talking about. So, today, oh my, look at that shit. Pardon my language. Pardon my language, Amber. I know, you're a good Christian, and I don't want to cuss on stream. Buggy. There we go. I'm just going to put the word buggy in there so I know to not mix it up with the one that's not buggy. So somehow I caused a mix-up. I think when I was, I started creating the stream on the toilet. So yeah, David Glenn, I'm going to drop you a link. Oh, wait, he can't hear me. I'm going to edit this stream so it has a proper name. We're also going to give it a thumbnail image, and just in case I have any contraband in my pictures folder, I'm going to switch to full screen mode. I mean, I would. Jokes aside, I don't have anything bad in my pictures folder, but you know how these things go. People share their desktop. David, click here. I had a oopsie. There we go. So now we'll have David Glenn joining us. Well, he's not joining the stream. He's welcome to join the stream if he wants to try Video Ninja, because today we are streaming directly from OBS, and as you all know, when you stream directly from OBS, it's not like StreamYard. You can't just send out a StreamYard link. And I am here. All right, good. We're in good company now. Okay, so let's get right to it. So we'll be very brief on the OBS thing, and maybe we'll revisit OBS later, because I know people have bedtimes and stuff like that, but it is lovely seeing you. Amber, Amber's sound is muted. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to do this. Wait, okay. Sign language. A, M, B, E. I can't do the E. R, M. There we go. I just want to do Amber M's name this shot because she's on mute. So I want to make sure Amber M can see that I'm putting her name out. You know what I mean? So we got... the A for Amber right there, okay? I don't mean to be doing that Illuminati crap. I did this on, the Stargate stream with Pops and Loki. And, I want to do the gate symbol, right? On Stargate, they have the Stargate point of origin. And I'll show you a picture of it because it's very important. And that is not the correct symbol. I don't know why they're showing this symbol. That is not the symbol that anybody knows about. But the symbol we do know about is this one here. So I'm joining on, Pops this stream by Stargate. In the very beginning, I'm doing this. And I'm like, I feel like fucking Jay-Z, those music videos when people are doing those conspiracy theory videos where they're like, oh, look at Jay-Z and P. Diddy doing the triangle shit. And I was like, I don't want to do that, man. Pops is another good Christian. I think he's a Christian. And so I was like, I don't want to be doing that fucking, Illuminati bullshit. But nonetheless, this is the point of origin for the Tauri of Earth from Stargate and Stargate SG-1. It is also apparently from the Inuit alphabet. So as a matter of fact, this is kind of cool. And we're just going to share this real quick. This is cool. Inuit alphabet. And I do want to say hello to Salty Traveling C, whom I probably don't have programmed into my thing, but I'm going to type his name in and see what comes up. Nope. Okay, I don't have you programmed into Stream Elements yet, do I? Hey, what up, Lemon Pie? Good to see you. I have to program Salty into Stream Elements because he's a cool dude. So right here it says on Wiktionary, and it's literally letter of the Canadian Aboriginal syllabary transcribed as pie. And basically what happened was, I think like there was another language called Cree where they came up with like a phonetic alphabet so that like the colonizers could come through and like, interact with the people in some kind of written text. Whereas, as I understand it, I don't think the Inuit had a alphabet before that point in time. And so just to give you guys an idea. Well, I got messages on Reddit. I got to check that. So like, I'm like 99.9% sure this is not an Inuit alphabet. This is like something that was like created by the West to, give them something to work with at some point in the past. Yeah, do your lecture, Amber. I will take off my shirt midstream to give you a cheap thrill. Okay, jokes aside. I should paint my body green, like, so that I could take my shirt off during a stream and just turn invisible. How cool would that be? But jokes aside, Amber, I will try to find a way in the future to maybe do something that doesn't require listening that can give you a chuckle throughout the stream. But I do want to wish Amber, luck and fortune and I don't know. Best of luck on your studies. It's not so much luck as it is you doing the legwork, and I believe in Amber's ability to do the legwork in studying. There's a freaking fly here. I'm not even kidding. There's a fly right here. I'm trying to intercept it. And I do want to say hello to California Ford 44. Had a great time watching a stream yesterday. It was really nice meeting her boy. He's a good kid. He's a young adult. He's a young man. Is he adolescent? Is that the right word? Well, he's a good guy. I got to say, California Ford's got a good, upstanding young man. Really, truly, I mean that. I don't even mean that sarcastically. I know I'm sounding like I'm joking, but no, he's a cool dude. She raised him well. But okay, so let's get on topic here. So, number one, let's talk OBS very briefly. So, we have OBS on my right side monitor, and so I just happen to be pressing buttons on a little miniature keyboard that I can't really show you on camera right now unless I pull out this camera, which I guess I could pull out this camera, right? I guess we just kind of just finagle this thing like this. And then we could press this button here. And yeah, so that's my Stream Deck. And apparently I tightened the lens up. There we go. So I use that. I used the Stream Deck to, switch between sources on Open Broadcast Studio. But realistically, when I started this, I would just click on crap over here. Like, any excuse for Ronnie to get naked while live. Thank you, Salty. Can I click on names? Okay, so I got to learn how to do this differently. I should have loaded up that plugin. But what we're going to do is we're going to add the YouTube chat to the stream real quick so that you guys can see the YouTube chat. So let me just see if we can do that real quick. Okay, we're going to do window capture, and I am keeping an eye on the Rumble chat tonight because I'm grateful to the one person who tuned in on Rumble 2 weeks in a row when I failed to acknowledge their presence. Okay, window capture, and we're going to call this YouTube chat 1 or something. Doesn't really matter what I call it. And just so you guys can see what I'm doing. Where is it? Oh, you guys can't see it. Okay, we're going to switch the window to, there we go. We don't need the capture cursor. We don't really need to see all of that stuff, but whatever. And this will allow us to now showcase the chitter chatter throughout the stream. Oh, and I got to do one more thing because if I don't do this, I can't see certain names in the chat. So there we go. Now we have it set to live chat, which in Spanish would be vive. I think it means vive. I don't know. Now, many people do many different things, but we're going to try a little experiment here. We're going to activate a color key. So if we go over here, we're going to click on color key, and we're going to see if we can like maybe just filter out the color dark black. I think it's a shade of black. It might be gray. Let's find out. Let us find out. Click okie dokie. Oh yeah, that's transparent, all right. Just like our government. Okay, that's terrible. It's not terrible, but it's not true. All right, and I lost the thingamabob where I clapped the chat. Okay, there we go. See, we got transparent chat right now. Because I do want to provide. Oh, that's kind of cool. Look at that. It's got that like little like it's not the correct color. So normally what you would do is if you want to match the right color, you take a screenshot and use the eyedropper tool in Photoshop or MS Paint. But for now, we're going to leave it just like that. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy pasta that into all of my scenes. And then I guess periodically I can just go ahead and disable it, right? That's my drawing tablet. This is the, we're just going to truncate the chat. Why do I have to pee all of a sudden? Anyway, I'm sorry. It's bodily functions. There we go. Look at that. Look at how beautiful that is. How nice is that? All right. Let's get to... Oh, I got a message on Restream from Kick. I got a message from Kick. Yay! I want to give a Dash Glow, who is not on screen right now, but he is totally on my screen. I wasn't expecting a message on Kick, but I am delighted to have a message from Dash Glow 49 on Kick. I do want to thank you for tuning in tonight. He says, "Hey homie, you stream so really well. I do see you streaming a lot, but yet still not affiliated and oh god. Respectfully, I have a feeling this is a sales pitch. I got a proposal for you. I will share your stream to a Kick community for you to hit 1,000 followers and earn nothing less than $1,000 per streaming. And enable your sub button. Add me on Discord if you're interested. No, I don't like getting my identity stolen. Appreciate the offer, but even if you're acting in good faith, I genuinely don't know if you're acting in good faith, and generally that's like kind of a red flag. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, kind of a red flag, buddy. But if you mean well, maybe in due time I'll trust you, and I have your name, so maybe I will be dumb enough to send you a message. But realistically, that sounds like an opportunity to get my Discord account compromised a week before I go on a trip on an airplane when I would least enjoy something like that. But once again, I do thank you for tuning in on Kick, Mr. Or Mrs. Dash Glow. And I do want to say hello to the great American Punk Waddle. How you doing there, bud? So anyway, let's get to the stream part real quick. So basically, I was talking on a friend channel. We were watching a LCX, and she's like a VTuber and an artist, and a very good artist, like literally ELLEC-X. I think that's how you spell it. Was it L-CX? Well, anyway, she tunes in sometimes. She's cool. And, like I was talking to a dude named LDP, and he's a cool dude too. And, we're just kind of exchanging ideas and thoughts, and somebody else had questions in the chat, I think, about doing stuff on OBS. They didn't have a lot of experience, so I want to do like a quick, I think it was LDP, but I just want to do a very quick primer on OBS, and then we're going to explore space. And I learned a few new functions in Space Engine that make it a little bit more fun. That's right, you're an American and a Texan, Punk Waddle, and that's really important because, like, the Republic of Texas is, for a while, it had a measure of sovereignty. I mean, at one time you could argue that Texas was its own little big nation within the continental United States, and it has very rich history, and that is why Punk Waddle sometimes films on location in front of the Alamo. Remember the Alamo? I remember the Alamo from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Anyway, and if we have time, if the stream doesn't end, we'll do a reaction stream to Malkini's drawers. What she's drawing is beautiful. Look at that beautiful thing, girl, not thing, young, beautiful Catwoman. Is that a Catwoman? Well, it's beautiful. And like earlier, he had a little cheek show going on. Let's get the cheek show. Yeah, look at that. Ah, yeah. Wait. Go back. Oh, that's a cleavage right there. But now, jokes aside, he does beautiful artwork, and I like to watch Malkini just like I like to watch other people like LCX, because I see how it gets done. I'm an amateur artist, and I don't have any aspirations, but I like, it's a hobby to me, and it's nice to just see how the people who are actually good at it, how they do it, So there's our boy Makini right there. Let's give him a like, because I got him on audio right now. Like, I'm listening to him. I'm listening at the very least. He's got like pretty deep thoughts, and there's a small chance you guys might actually jump ship and tune into his show instead of mine right now, and I couldn't even hold it against you guys. But getting back on topic, because my attention is very easily diverted, as you can see here. Did anybody say anything in the chat that I need to acknowledge? Oh, thank you, California Ford, for following me on Rumble. Kick is just Twitch. It is true. It is just Twitch. Basically, your own little OS server. I know that's not how you read that. I'm just being a smartass. Dude, seriously, infinity screen happening. Oh yeah, that is happening. Do you want me to cover that shit? Oh, there's a fly on my microphone. If I play my cards right, oh damn it, he flew away. I was gonna try to get that fly. Okay, so don't worry, we're not gonna fixate on infinity screen here. So all I wanted to show in OBS was over here under settings. Because, look, scenes and sources, I think that's something we could do in a video. We could do that another day. But the main question was about video encoding. So in my OBS config, I use the advanced output mode, which you can see is a pull down menu up here. And the chief difference is, and I can actually show you because I can open up another copy of OBS. And I did discuss this during the stream earlier today, that you can actually download OBS in a zip file. And all you have to do is put a text file in a folder, in the OBS folder, that says portable mode.txt. And that tells OBS, that tells that second copy of OBS to not use the same settings as your normal OBS. Because if you install a second copy of OBS and open it, and you start messing with the settings, it's going to mess up the settings in this copy of OBS. That's no bueno, right? That would be a bad time. So instead what you do is you install OBS out of a zip file, and you can literally see it's a different version of OBS. Like, I probably haven't updated my OBS in a while. 30.1.2. I think I need version of 31 to test out the feature that David Glenn told me about last week. But I'm usually reluctant to update OBS because, like, I don't want to disrupt the order of things. Suddenly crap doesn't work or whatever the case is. So I'm very cautious about updating OBS, maybe more cautious than necessary. But the bottom line is that when I go into the settings here, we can now see what the settings look like when you're not streaming, because there are certain settings you cannot change while streaming. So in this separate settings window, if we go to simple mode, this is what you normally see. And you'll see you have streaming and recording. And I think it's pretty self-explanatory. The streaming settings dictate when you click start streaming. The recording settings dictate the format it uses when recording. What up, Real Wade Nation, Real Wade Gaming Nation, Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips. That's a mouthful, man. But yeah, in the house. Good to see you, Wade. Thanks for dropping in, bud. So, like, whatchamacallit. So, you just tell, like, under recording, like, okay, save my videos to this folder. Like, you literally click browse and tell it what folder to save the videos, and it'll store them by, like give them a name, like today's date and the time you recorded the video, for example. Is DJ in the middle of Earth? Kind of. Secretly. Don't tell anyone. It's a secret. Hello, buddy. I hope you're doing well. I noticed. Oh, yeah, look at that. VStream bot had a little. Oh, he's spamming me again, I think. Okay, that's it. This is creeping me the fuck out. There we go. We're just going to block that shit now. Oh, yeah, I can't. Oh, yeah, moderators, David Glenn, James, do not block VStream bot, because I think that'll block all of the messages. So what I have to do is I got to block things on my. Oh, crap. My stream deck doesn't. Okay, there's a delay now. I have to block it from this end over here in order to prevent, people like that. So I might just stop streaming on Kick, because, like, apparently bots are totally a thing on Kick. And unless I can kick the bots off of Kick, I don't think, I'll be able to tolerate Kick. Yeah, I know, right? David Glenn, it's like, it's logical. I understand. That's why I said it. I knew, like, logically, if I was in your shoes, I'd probably do it too. Spam a lot. Yeah, right? Sir, spam a lot. All right. So anyway, let's just run through it real quick. So what folder it saves the video in? The quality. Now, in simple mode, which is up here in the menu, all you can pick is, like, basically, like same as stream, and I'll explain what that means in a minute. High quality, medium quality, low quality, which actually doesn't say that. It says high quality, which is a medium file size. Indistinguishable quality, which means that the quality should be indistinguishable from the maximum quality. I should make you a mod on Kick. I'm not even on Kick right now, but when I navigate the Kick, I would love to do that. If you type a message in the chat before I end this stream, I'll go to Kick and make you a mod. But yeah, that would be a good idea, Wade. So, and then you got lossless quality, which is basically like almost like uncompressed video. And these are fine settings, you know, realistically indistinguishable, probably meet most people's needs. Now, this part says recording format. It's really like, you know, how when you have a video file that says .avi or .mp4 or .mkv. And so sometimes, like if I used to use an old version of Adobe Premiere editing software, and I couldn't use I do not know my Kick name. I'll pull it up in a minute, Wade. You know, but you couldn't edit MKV files. So for a while I wouldn't use MKV, but there's a problem. So if you record an MP4 and you have a power outage in the middle of recording, the file gets corrupted. So the good news is there's a workaround. In OBS, when you record a .mkv file, if your editing software refuses to let you edit a .mkv file, all you really have to do is go to this menu here where it says Remux Recordings. I know it's a little hard to see there because of the chat, so I'll move it over a little more. Remux Recordings. And all you do is you tell it where the video is. You say, open up this video. Well, let me make sure there's no, you know, prawns in there. Okay, good. There's no prawns in there. Let me go to my OBS folder, and then I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, good. We got it. Okay, so back to the right monitor. So, you know, these are all MKV files. So we're going to just pick a random 100 megabyte file, and you literally just queue them up. You say, okay, take my MKV files. This is the input. This is the output. And see, it's going to take the MKV file and convert it to an MP4, and it's going to do it really quickly. And the reason is that it's not technically converting the video encoding. It's simply putting it in a new container. It's taking it out of the MKV file. It's taking it out of the MKV file and making it live in an MP4 file. And California Ford, you have a wonderful sleep. Thank you very much for tuning in. And so just wanted to go over that briefly. But let's get back to the settings. We're going back to the output tab, and we're still under simple mode. So we selected MKV because, like I said, if your editing software can't edit MKV, you can use the remuxing option. I don't know, but there are workarounds, California Ford. So California Ford asks, will OBS be compatible with the fly that's buzzing my head? Sorry, there's a fly buzzing my head. Will OBS be compatible with Samsung Chromebook? Well, any Chromebook can do the same thing as other Chromebooks. I don't know if they have OBS, but I do know that a lot of Android apps do work on Chromebook. And a while back, I was able to use StreamYard Studio. It was sort of like a miniature version of OBS. It's like an imitation OBS that ran on Android that had some of the features. Okay, cool. I see you on Kick. Wait, I'm going to jump over there in a second and mod you. Hey, I got David Glenn on Rumble. Hey, thanks for tuning in, bud. Yeah, see, that's why I got the Rumble window on the left. So, yeah, you know, bottom line is that, like, I don't think there's an OBS available, but there is an alternative. I'll be happy to go over that sometime, but it's a little bit different in OBS. Unless, you know, there is an OBS. I don't think there is, because I would, if there was OBS for Android, I'd be all over that. I'd be all over that. Like, OBS for Chromebook. Let me see. Oh, here's some direct. No, wait. Does anyone have recommendations? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm just reading a post. Yeah, no, it's not really a thing. But like I said, if there's an Android app that provides similar functionality, that is going to be something that you might want to run on a Chromebook, and so that's something that I would be able to, you know, maybe assist with. Hey, wait, is my stream actually playing? Because right now on I get this. Does it say offline on your end? Like, is that what you're seeing, or am I only seeing that? Because that's very weird. Like, I don't know how this is. I don't actually know how Kick works. Wait, so I'm here. So where's the chat? Okay, I'm absolutely confused right now. So I saw Wade under this chat. I'm gonna add you as a mod, but I honestly think I think it's just like the issue I had on OBS. I got to do something different. Okay, so we're gonna time out Wade. No, we're not gonna time him out. I need to make him a mod. Yeah, I gotta play with this. I don't know how to make you a mod. I'm gonna give you a heart. I'm gonna click the heart next to Wade's button. I'm not gonna mute him. I'm sorry. Can you guys see my screen? Yeah. So I don't know if the scroll bar is just too low and I can't see the thing right now, but yeah, I don't know how to do that. Okay, I'll have to figure that out later, bud. So we'll sort that out later. I don't know what the deal with Kick is, but it doesn't really matter because apparently it's a spammer's haven. So you know what? I think we'll leave Kick alone for tonight, or at least in terms of that aspect. So getting back on topic here. Okay, so now here's the most important thing to me, the video encoder. Normally, you might only have software X.264, and you'll have like a low CPU and a high CPU version of it. And basically, this is probably ideal. The problem is the software video encoder uses a lot of CPU. So if you open up your Windows Task Manager, you'll see like 80%, 90% utilization. You know, it'll be pretty heavy on utilization. Even now, I'm not even using a software encoder, and my CPU is like nearly 40-50% in use. What I do is I utilize NVIDIA encoder instead right down here. You see there's two versions, but generally I'd say use NVIDIA encoder H.264. And essentially what that does is instead of making the video encoding happen over here on your CPU, it happens on this histogram on your GPU. I'm trying too hard. In what way? Please clarify, James. I mean, you're probably right, but just, you know, clarify because your feedback counts. And then finally, let's see, we roll down here, audio encoding and audio track. So now we got the gist of it. What does the first option mean? Software, no, wait, where was it? Right here, same as stream. So what a lot of people would do is they'll do streaming directly from OBS. So they'll set their video settings up here. And then whenever they record a video, it'll just utilize the same settings for recording and streaming. And there's benefits to that, just no benefit to me. So anyway, with that being said, we're going to close out the second copy of OBS. We're going to take a look at the actual thing we're doing right now. What do you think about the Naz Wendell from Level 1 Text today? I don't know. I am not saying I'm not subscribed to Level 1 Text, but I did not see that video today. Can you just use Discord and OBS? You absolutely can, David Glenn. You can use Discord and OBS. You can also use video.ninja. There's literally a website called vdo.ninja. And it's sort of like a browser thing that what you do is like people jump on that, they attach their webcam to the web browser, and then I add some like, I think HTML code, or I add a web page to OBS and it works that way. So Video Ninja would be like similar as far as alternatives go. So yeah, we got two options there. So right now, I'm not even trying to do like multi-person stream. This is just like for a solo stream. Now, why am I doing it this way? Well, because I can't get 1080p and 60 frames a second any other way unless I'm streaming directly from OBS. If I go through Restream Studio, I can only do 1080p at 30 frames a second, or I think 720p at 60 frames a second. And I don't want to make that compromise, at least not today. There's days where when you're having like 5 people or 2 people on the stream, it makes sense to, you know, it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like it makes a lot of sense to have, you know, have it set up that way. But anyway, so that's the gist of it. This is basically for the benefit of someone tuning in. I'll probably have to do a recap video on this. But just real quick, right now, these are the streaming settings we're using today. Yep, that's the site, David. And so real quick, what you'll notice is that because I'm in advanced mode, recording and streaming are separate tabs. And under the streaming tab, we already have NVIDIA encoder selected for the aforementioned reason. We are not rescaling the output, so it's getting exactly the same 1080p that we have over here under video settings. It's the one that David posted right above your message. and I'm using a constant bit rate, but some people would use a different setting like a variable bit rate. You would never stream with a lossless codec. I mean, within your right mind, you would not stream lossless, but you might do CQP, constant quality factor, or similar to a CRF. But essentially, 12 megabits a second was the maximum bitrate recommended by YouTube and Restream, basically, for my purposes. The problem is that the audio cuts into that, and so that's why I don't use 12,000 megabits a second. I use 11,840. That leaves enough headroom for the audio encoding. And then if I was using a software-based encoder, I might not want to use slow, good quality. But because I'm using a hardware-based video encoder, and that's what it is, NVIDIA encoder is using a dedicated hardware component on my graphics card, I can afford to use the slow mode, and it doesn't really seem to impose any meaningful issue on me. But if my computer is strapped for resources, yeah, I might pick the, lesser setting. Ultra low latency. I don't know if this makes a radical difference, but presumably without selecting this setting, or if we picked, so I have ultra low latency. Had I selected high quality, there's a possibility that there would be a significant delay between the chat and my voice. And so, it's just kind of annoying, right? So we don't do that. And then, these other options are kind of optional. And the one setting that we're not taking advantage of right now, I have 2 GPUs in my computer. And so normally I would have this setting set to GPU 1. And that's so that instead of my primary GPU doing all of the legwork, I can offload this to my secondary GPU. But the problem is sometimes I'll get an error message and I have to change it, so I'll forget to change it back. And the other thing is the reason that I don't generally need to use my second GPU for video encoding. But when I'm using a game like Kerbal Space Program 2, I have to do that. So basically, like, if you play a game on your primary GPU, most games can coexist with the video encoding. But some games do not coexist with video encoding. So in other words, your video encoding goes to shit, or your game frame rates go to crap if you're using the same GPU. And so by having a second GPU, this empty video encoding graph can be put to work handling OBS. And that would help. That would help in terms of freeing up the primary GPU for that purpose. So I hope that kind of clears things up over there. So anyway, if anybody tuning in on the replay has any questions about that, let me know. I'd be happy to make a more refined video. Now, I didn't really go into detail on my video encode settings, but you'll notice here I don't have a bit rate. I picked CQP. Basically, it's a quality factor. And yeah, I didn't make you a mod yet because I didn't know how to make you a mod, Wade. I'll try again. I just don't know how to do it. It wasn't intuitive, like I clicked on your name and it didn't say make Wade a mod, so that's why, I didn't get around to doing it. But, same concept as the streaming settings. The main difference is that a CQ18 would be equivalent to like 32 megabits per second. This is not a bit rate you want to be streaming with. But for recording and editing, it makes sense to start off with a really high quality file, do your editing, and then maybe delete the original, or maybe re-encode it and handbrake, do your editing, delete the original, and keep the re-encoded copy and the final cut together, stuff like that. And I honestly don't really see a difference when I change the multi-pass setting. Right now it's on quarter resolution multi-pass, 2-pass. I don't see a difference there. Oh, here we go. It says it right here. GPU 1. So right now, in theory, if I start recording, GPU 1 would start working. Can we prove it? I can absolutely prove it. How do I prove it? Well, we open up this, and while this is running, we're going to look at GPU 1. We're going to hit start recording, and instant I start recording, take a look. That histogram is already chugging to work, so there you go. And what's cool is you see it's barely using like 20%. So you could do multiple video things at the same time on the same GPU without saturating the GPU. So that basically covers all of the key points in OBS. Does anybody have any questions before I, use the lavatory? Well, let me know. I'm going to go open up Kick real quick. One more time. Just like the Daft Punk song. One more time. Okay, maybe I shouldn't sing it. Don't allow me to sing again. Yeah, I don't see a moderator button. That's really annoying. I'm going to copy and paste Wade's name. Hey Google, how do I add a mod on Kick? I'm sorry, I said that really loud into the mic. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, I hate when that happens. Sometimes you ask Google, you say, how do I do something? Google's like, oh, I'll send you an article on your phone. And it's like, no. Just tell me now. Do they even have moderators on Kick? Is that even a thing? Oh, here we go. We might have something here. Wade. Got you. All right, you are hereby a moderate. See, look, you're a moderator now. Thank you, Wade. All right, good. So we're going to load up Space Engine, and we're going to have it do something like crazy. Not crazy, but we're going to do something unique. Where's my mouse pointer? Oh, crap, we got to close Space Engine because my mouse pointer is missing. All right. So we're going to reload Space Engine on my uppermost monitor, and by the time I come back, it'll be open. How does that sound to you guys? Hey, what up, Slim Nim? Thanks for dropping by. Something I think everybody in the chat knows exists. All right, we're going to have to mute Machiny Drawers for a minute. And we're going to open up whatever it is that Slim... I lost it. I lost the link that Slim sent. Oh, here it is. I think it's a Frankenstein movie. Looks like a Frankenstein movie. Yeah, this better not be like... Anyway, whatever. We're going to find out. So, we're going to play this while I go to the toilet. And I'll probably end it early, no offense, but we'll play it back.
All talking. All singing. All brown.
Good. You want me to maximize that, guys? You want it in full screen?
Dark Town. After dark.
I'll be right back. Oh my god, it's 240p resolution. Yo, this better not be like illegal or race. Whatever. We're just gonna let it roll. We'll let it roll. I'll be back.
Calvin, I want you to pass these around to the guys. A little something I wrote up on the way over here.
Well, I woke up this afternoon and I felt that everything was pretty much okay. That's good. And I made love to my baby in my usual way.
Hey Google, set an alarm for 5:20 and 5:25 a.m.
I tried to put on my shoes, they were too tight, they would not fit.
Hey guys, I'm Wilton the Troll. Okay. Alright, I'm sorry. I'm trolling y'all. I recognize this guy.
And almost froze my toes.
Right. What did I miss? Quickly, chat. Summarize what I was just playing and if I got in any copyright violation. Let's check if I did. Okay, no violation here. All right. That's good. Man, I thought my toilet seat was cold. So, Siri, order more live crickets for Ronnie's turtles. Turtle. How did you know my turtle had a turtle? Oh my god. Peter Venkman fan site. I have W3 scores up on the screen because when I went to bed last night, I was ambitious. I was saying, we're going to create the Peter Venkman fan site. But, you know, we're saved from that. I'm kind of lazy right now. Don't really want to go into the HTML rabbit hole tonight. But one of these days, we're going to go to my Angel Fire website. Look, got Sailor Moon PDA wallpaper. Uh-oh. Wait, what? No. Oh, I see. It's just an advertisement thing. Let's try that again. There we go. There's my Angel Fire website, right? Look, I don't know how only 276 people visited this website in 20 years. This is bullshit. But granted, I haven't added a lot of things to it. I have some dead links. Like, this website definitely doesn't exist anymore. I bet you if we go to archive.org, let's do it real quick. Let's do archive.org and see if damn it, Wayback Machine. All right, we're gonna do this. We're gonna see if this girl's website still exists. This is a girl who went to Cornell University back in the 90s. And damn it, no, I want the hyperlink, not the freaking thing. What the hell? Pardon my language. All right, we're gonna try this out here. We're gonna copy the link. Copy link address. I would love Zelda's address more than link. All right. Oh wow. Since it was up in 2009, let's go back to 2004 to be on the safe side, and see what we get. We're gonna revisit the 90s right here, guys. You're gonna love this. At least I think we're gonna revisit the 90s. Are we revisiting the 90s? Okay, it might take a minute for the database to load. That's pretty low, but I did a lot of promoting after launching all my sites. Yeah. I mean, it could just be that, like, I mean, it's a site, I put one picture up on it, and then I did nothing with it for, like, ever. There's actually a Jackass videos section on that website. You know Jackass? Like, you know, Johnny Knoxville? My friends would film these videos where they would, like, you know, go to the side of a highway in a shopping cart and, like, throw someone down the side of the grassy hill in a shopping cart, and somehow they didn't break their bones. That shit was wild. All right, where are we now? All right, we're going to go to April 11th, 2001. That's got to be close enough to the 1990s. Here we are. Welcome to Emily's Sailor Moon Room. Please come in. Your visitor number... Okay, so the numbers are down. Please be aware of this page is best viewed with Microsoft Internet Explorer 5.0 or higher. Well, I think we're on a browser that's a hell of a lot higher than Internet Explorer 5.0. Yeah, I mean, honestly, HTML is not the worst experience, but it does feel like a little, like, you know, it's nice to, like, a lot of shit can be accomplished graphically, but it was a weird time, right? And so the fonts are clearly not tailored to our purposes, so we're going to throw it up. Okay, she added 2 more pages of transformations and a multimedia section with the transformations for every Sailor Senshi, except for the Starlights. Woohoo, 1411. I think she's using Canadian time. Oh yeah, okay. April 11th, 2001. Now, as you can see, we can't sign the guest book now. But you guys remember guest books, right? Yeah, childhood antics, am I right? I mean, I'm not saying this lady's a child, but, you know, back then this was in vogue. But, you know, archive.org is really slow, so I think we've done enough internet nostalgia for tonight. I used a mix of hand and WYSIWYG editing in Netscape. Yep. That was me. I thought it was the coolest freaking thing when Netscape Communicator allowed you to do that crap, you know? Like, you would, like, you could kind of, like, edit the code a little bit. You could edit it by hand in the visual preview. And then if you make a change to the code, you could sort of get, like, a live preview. And then what I eventually did was, the first time I did a web page, I didn't understand hyperlinking, so I would build this website on my desktop or on the desktop page of my laptop. And then nothing would happen. I'd be like, what is this crap? Like, the pictures are all missing. Because I didn't understand relative linking. I didn't realize that, like, it's looking for pictures on my C drive, but it's running on a web server, and that's not linked to my C drive. So the pictures ain't going to load, you know what I mean? So I thought I was being all clever, and then it wasn't working at all. And I was just like, womp. But, yeah, oh my God, this girl is Cornell. Oh, we got an ICQ number. Does ICQ still work? I think ICQ still works. I don't think she'd get messages, but I think ICQ still works. So yeah, you know, there's that. It was faster than Explorer. Yeah, true. Netscape was dope. And also, remember, AOL and Netscape. I'm sorry, AOL and what's that other crap called? AOL and Internet Explorer did not have frames. And, you know, frames were like those things where you have the scroll bar. Oh, why is this guy in the corner of the screen? Look, see how I'm sitting over here? Oh, wait, I gotta fix that. This is from last week when David Glenn joined me. I was like, I can't block David Glenn's head, so I moved myself over there. We're back in the corner. I'm back in my place. In the corner. All was lost. I remember that browser. So what I want to do is, the reason I showed you my Angel Fire webpage is because, like, about a year or two ago, I reclaimed it. And about 2 months ago, I reset the password on it. So what that means is we can update that webpage now. And so my plan is pretty wild. What I'm going to do is we're going to update it. We're gonna seriously, unironically I mean, it's gonna be ironic, but I'm gonna act like it's unironic. So we're gonna add some PDA wallpapers. Like, look, I got 3 PDAs. I got this device here. That's a PDA. I have a device with a black and white screen. Why do you think the Sailor Moon wallpaper on that website was black and white? It was because of this device. I owned one of these when I was like 12. So we got that. And I even have a full VGA display on this one right here. So we're going to produce PDA wallpapers that fit all of these devices. And of course, I'm not a dick. I'm going to make sure they're compatible with Android. And what we're going to do is, yeah, we're just going to have multiple resolutions available. And we're going to just put ridiculous Sailor Moon wallpapers up as if we're running a 1990s web page all over again. And then maybe in due time, we'll add more pages, you know. Like Punk Waddle was here in the chat a little while ago. If I turn on this device, we literally have a wallpaper with Punk Waddle in black and white on here, you know. So we got options. And so that is my plan with that webpage. And then basically, as I get my feet wet with old HTML, I'll go and then we'll finally make a Peter Venkman fan site. And then if Peter Venkman if the Peter Venkman fan site authorizes it, only then will I create an OnlyFans site that is a fan site of the fan site. So it'll be like the Peter Venkman fan site, OnlyFans site. But I have a feeling that Venkman fan site might not be about that, and I respect that. If you tell me no, if you veto that, I will obey. I will abide. But I think a Peter Venkman fan site, OnlyFans site would be a great way to like earn revenue. Like imagine like you could literally get money from that, and it'd just be pictures of Peter Venkman, like maybe like showing a little nipple or something, like literally the cartoon Venkman, like doing some like, I don't know. We'll talk about it. Maybe we could discuss it. I don't know. But like, I'll get the legwork started. And if you like what you see, you can tell me what direction you think is inappropriate so that I don't go in that direction, you know, because I got some pretty wild ideas and I think I'm going to need someone to veto some of those ideas. Wait, DJ Ronnie G is the best person ever. He runs on SP batteries. That's a hint. He's giving me a hint there to like remember to do the battery on this miniature laptop. It's not really a laptop, it's a Game Boy. It's a Game Boy Advanced SP. Anyway, let's get into space. The Finito Frontiero. SP batteries. So what are the plans for the turtle? I don't know, honestly. I mean, I know we talked about it, but it's so complicated. Will I be able to do what I need to do before I go to Texas next week? Should I wait till I get back from Texas? Is there anything I can order online, Slim, that will arrive by, say, next Tuesday so that when I come home from Texas, I can start working on the turtle decorations, you know? And if I have a surplus of money left over after my trip to Texas, which I should because I get paid that week, I could buy a second camera for the turtle tank. All pics of Pete. Yep, I agree. So, yeah, I think we have all pictures of Peter Venkman. That makes a lot of sense, Venkman fan site. So, yeah, basically the gist of it right there. So, anyway, usual boring stuff, right? We're in Space Engine right now, and the only issue is that my monitor is set to 120 FPS, and so I don't know how that translates to 60 FPS. But what's interesting is you might notice the visuals are behaving a little differently today. It's almost like really smooth, like I'm not actually moving the mouse right now. And that's because I decided to get more comfortable with spacecraft mode. And I'll explain what that means in a minute. So basically, normally when I'm running Space Engine, I'm more comfortable doing the mouse pointer. So you see it says free mode. Here, I'll put this thing on screen for a minute. You got free mode, spacecraft mode, and airplane mode. And so basically, in free mode, you can move it freely, right? You can like gently do this, or you can grab a gamepad, and you can like do this with the gamepad. And that's all good and dandy. Like, you know, you can rotate things, you can fly into them, you can recenter it by pressing letter C on the keyboard. So let's say you make a mistake and you're like, oh, I want to center the Earth. You press the letter C. But the issue with free mode is that, you know, it can look very like this, you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't have that buttery smooth motion. So how can we remedy that? Well, I mean, obviously, like, you know, we could just slow down the speed. So when we have the display up, you can see that right now we're moving at 0.5 C. So we're going to do something cool. We're going to reenact the ending of Gundam 0083. If you guys don't know what that means, maybe I'll play a video at the end and get myself copyright claimed. But we're gonna do this. We're gonna. Oh yeah. So real thing is the gamepad is great, but sometimes you gotta use the keyboard. Set it you straight. So we're gonna fly away from the Earth. I'm gonna show you a cool trick. Oops. Okay, I made a mistake already. Okay. So we're gonna fly out. I'm gonna show you guys a cool trick. You're gonna probably not love this, but I think it'll be pretty cool. So let's say you wanted to like do like a fancy fly-in of the solar system. Okay, we're moving at 5 astronomical units a second, which is obscenely fast. It's like the distance between the Earth and the Sun. And you want to do like a really slick solar system fly-in. So what you might do is slow down your speed, put spacecraft mode on, and press the up key on the keyboard. And when you do that, things are going to start getting larger. Now here's a caveat. Things move exceptionally slow at first. Oh wait, is the chat on screen? I'm sorry, I'll put the live chat on the screen in a minute. I'm sorry, guys. Ah, bummer. Alright, you know what to do if you're still over there in Kick, buddy. Because I know that's not the Caleb we know. The Caleb that I know would never put... Oh yeah, so anybody on Kick, I'm getting another one of the spammers on Kick. Yeah. So anyway, it's like flying in buttery smooth. So this is cool because like I could record an automated camera path where like it just does this. But the problem is that it does that too quickly, right? That's no fun. So I'm still kind of getting a finesse for it, and I think it requires patience. So basically we're just going to fly in slowly one time more. Okay, see, we lost our centering, and that's kind of no surprise there. I actually know why that happened, but we're just going to correct for it now. We're going to just go. So anyway, we're not going to fixate on this part too much, but you can see how, you know, oh, goodness. Pumpkin-based whiskey. That's based, bro. No, I'm kidding. You know how people say things are based. So hypothetically, we're going to start from this close. So now, okay, I'm still kind of getting a finesse for controlling the speed of things in situ. But hypothetically, if I started from really far away and I just walked away from my computer while it was going slow, I could record a nice, buttery, smooth animation where it does this, but at a slightly slower speed, right? You know, you can see where it takes a lot of patience because, like, from far away, everything takes an eternity, and then you're zipping right past the Earth in no time. Oof, murder of plastic chair. 70s doctor was mad wild. Doctor Who was wild. Well, who was wild? You know, answer the question. Who? I'm just pulling your leg. Yes, it's true. Turtles can eat lettuce, and so pumpkin mash. Can turtles eat pumpkin mash? I have a pumpkin in the backyard right now. I picked one in upstate New York. All right, so here's the cool thing I really want to show you guys. And it's not this, but you know, let's take a look. What is this? Planetary Barry Center. Oh, that's a weird thing to show on the map. How is that even showing right now? Anyway, doesn't matter. We'll disable it later. But what I want to show you guys that's really cool is you've guys seen the solar system 1,500 times. I've done this on stream before, and I've probably bored you guys ad nauseum by giving you the spinny tour. And as much as I love conveying the grandeur and scale of, you know, the dwarf planets and their distant orbits, we're not going to waste your time on that today. Although what I am going to do is we're going to show you real quick, just for reference, Sedna, which is like, remember, that's a really distant dwarf planet, right? You can see, like, it's basically an asteroid on a really elliptical orbit that is enormously wide. But what we're really going to do is we're going to go to the sun or Sol, and we're going to press F1. And when you press F1, we get the same view, except if I do, once again, Sedna, we can see that red orbit. Because, you know, we see all major dwarf planets, and in Sedna, I would consider like an even more minor dwarf planet. But if we zoom out, you get an idea of the scale. And this is important because in a minute... Okay, good. Now we're looking at the disk from above. And I like to rotate it like this so we can read it a little better. Alright. So, you know, obviously, and those little blue dots, I should explain, those are comets. And so we have a number of comets that are kind of flying away from the solar system. Because generally, they get cataloged near the sun, and then they kind of continue their flight outward. But we're going to zoom out, and you can see here, we got these numbers here, 0.1, 0.5, 0.7, 0.8, 1 light year. No, it's only 0.1 light year. So, like, literally, like, the orbit of Sedna is inside this green circle over here, just to give you guys an idea. And you can see a couple of the comets way out here. So we're going to zoom on out of this. And you can see we're rapidly approaching 1 light year, 1.2 light year. Now, can anybody guess where is the first planet going to show up aside from Alpha Centauri? What is going to be the next planet after Proxima and after Alpha Centauri? So what is going to be the third closest planet to the planet Earth? Can you guess? In the meantime, we're going to catch up with the chat. In a hurricane by Patio Furniture, and definitely not FEMA's fault for blowing their wad prematurely. Wait, are you recommending we purchase patio furniture? Oof, murdered by a plastic chair. 70s Oh yeah, I gotta check that out. Yo, if a plastic chair murdered somebody, I need to see that Doctor Who. Because I tell you, every time someone tries to make me watch Doctor Who, it's like, it's mind-numbing. It's not really mind-numbing. Like, I saw a clip from Doctor Who just yesterday while I was at work in the bathroom, and it was pretty cool. A Dalek started shooting lasers at somebody in a lab, and I was like, this is cool. Like, why does anybody show me this crap? You know, I don't want to watch British people talking about British stuff. Oh, let's have tea. It's like, no, I want to see robots shooting lasers at people. That's what I want. Just saying. But jokes aside, I remember the late Clobberin times, you know, like I commented in the chat. I was saying, like, you know, I just have trouble getting into Doctor Who. And him and Mark D with a C kind of like explained like the craze back when they were kids and how every kid, it was like almost like a British invasion where all of the kids wanted to put garbage cans on their heads and pretend to be Daleks, you know. And they kind of gave me like an idea of like what it was like for them, you know, like to do that type of thing, I guess, you know. You got to watch Classic Who, says Peter Venkman fan site. And I would agree with that because it's certainly not going to be the newest one. And even some of the newer ones aren't my cup of tea. And I might even be happier watching it in black and white. But maybe there's some color episodes. I saw the clip I saw that was in color looked super low budget. But it was definitely a sci-fi story. You know, it's like, okay, robots are lasering the guys in the lab. I'm like, something's going on here that I can wrap my mind around. And how are your rum balls? Only pie I sell is bourbon pecan pie. Each slice is about 15% something 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 ABV, alcohol by volume. Not the new stuff. Aw, shucks. Well, shucks, says David Glenn. That would likely create the end of Earth even faster, they claim. Wait, are we talking about patio furniture, Daleks, or climate change? I'd make mine with Bobbin Court. With Bobbin Court, 10-year 5-star with a little orange zest. That sounds refreshing and quite flammable. I was raised into the 80s, so they probably have some years on me. I dig that. I was raised in the early 90s, but I used to listen to 80s music in the 90s because, you know, 80s music in the 90s was good. Just like how in 2004, people tried to dress like people from a 90s computer hacker movie because we were just holding on for dear life to the 90s. You know what I mean? We wanted to keep the 90s, and we were being pushed into the new century. We're forced to be subjected to frickin' 9/11, and then before you know it, we got millennials becoming grown up and shit. Too much iron apparently causes red dwarfs or novas or something quite bad. Yeah, quite bad for my tan. Actually, it could be very good for your tan, but it might be bad for your epidermis because they'll be cooked to a crisp. And blue stars, any blue star tends to be like instant melanoma, I believe. I think that's how you get the Necron tier in Warhammer 40k. So right off the bat, we can see Alpha Centauri and Proxima Centauri here. They're about 4.5, 5 light years out. And in fact, we're seeing that Alpha Centauri is about 4.37, and it's not even letting me click on Proxima. It's literally not letting me click on Proxima. That's super duper annoying right now because, I mean, I'm clicking on it. All right. 4.2 versus 4.37. So let's just say 0.2 light. They're basically less than a quarter of a light year apart from one another. And if anybody wants to see the planets and orbits of those stars, let me know. And then you got Barnard Star. So right off the bat, here's great news. So one of the things that I'm glad to be talking about Barnard Star today is that a new a new super Earth was discovered in orbit of it, and it involved taking something like 10 years of spectroscopic data or spectrographic data in order to discover it. And so apparently, maybe if I open up Celestia, we could see something else, but apparently in this application, we only see Barnard Star B. We're not seeing any of the other planets. So there's actually more exoplanets in orbit of Barnard Star than just this Saturnian-like planet right here. And I say Saturnian because it's a lot like Saturn, right? And you can see it says that it's about 1.7 times the diameter of something. Is it 1.7 times the diameter of Jupiter or Saturn? I honestly don't know. And it's got 6 times the mass of Jupiter, I believe, if I'm reading that correctly, because I don't think that's the Earth masses. Although, let's see, 22,000. Yeah, I think it's 6 Earth masses. So it's actually pretty small. It's 1.7 diameter to Earth. And it is 6 Earth masses in terms of the weight of the planet or the amount of stuff that would produce the weight if you had a scale for it. And you got a nice little, ring system, and you got this weird shadow thing. But of course, we don't have any of the moons cataloged. But where you have a ring system, you're gonna have moons. But let's get back to the solar system now. And to do this, we tend to just wind it up like this. We just go, okay, let's go back out to the outer area. And so now there was another star called Lumen 16. I'm pretty sure it's a boring ass star. It's a brown dwarf. Actually, that could be interesting. Let's go take a look. And I say it could be interesting because, surface gravity, I don't know, but with 6 times the Earth mass, it's going to be significant. Have a good night, Wade. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for offering to be mod. And yeah, I definitely got to do that. And thank you for the reminder, Wade. I have the Game Boy right here, so I will hopefully remember when I come home tomorrow from work. So yeah, it's a binary star system. See? Just 2 stars that orbit one another. And a brown dwarf looks a bit like Jupiter-like. Now, a while back, I remember there was a guy, the late Bob Chapman, and he was one of the big silver bugs. This is one of those guys who go around and talk about how the economy is going to crash and you should buy a ton of silver. And he had some valid reasons. Doesn't mean I recommend it, but he had some interesting reasons. But his thing was he talked about the Tower of Babel story. And if you remember, and I don't know the biblical story in great detail, but I vaguely know it involves the Tower of Babel being a great tower that was built with some kind of hubris, and that this tower collapsed because of earthquakes, and that after this incident, the people of the world ended up with separate languages. So Bob Chapman, I don't know if I believe it, but he came up with a creative interpretation. He said that Nibiru or Nemesis is a brown dwarf star, sort of like this. And that it's in a very wide elliptical orbit. And you saw that asteroid Sedna, how it had that really elliptical orbit. So imagine the various comets and how they have these weird slingshotting orbits that are just way out there. So one side of the orbit is relatively close to us, and the other side of the orbit is way the F out over there. And so if you look at the geological record, we know that every so many thousand years, we have major cataclysms of some kind, and maybe they're not all for the same reason. Maybe they just happen to be different things happening within, so many years. But his case was that the Tower of Babel was knocked down because a brown dwarf star like this was making a close approach to Earth. It causes the earthquakes because its mass is disturbing our tectonic plates. And the Tower of Babel collapses. But because a brown dwarf star doesn't put out a lot of light, but it puts out a ton of dirty-ass radiation. And so maybe as it's making a close approach to Earth, it causes people's brain cells to get messed up. And he goes that as the radiation affected the people, he says it causes them to lose IQ points, and thus they lose the ability to utilize the speech centers in their brain, thereby losing the ability of language for a time. And I don't know if I really buy it, but I just like the creativity of it. And you know what? If you're going to try to make an explanation for the whole Nibiru thing, it's kind of a cool one, I got to say. It just sounds cool, you know? So there's a brown dwarf star right there. You probably don't want to spend a lot of time in orbit of one. And you do want to spend time maybe tuning into DJ Play Nice. How you doing, DJ? Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're doing well. I hear a rumor that DJ Play Nice occasionally does farm videos. But even if he doesn't, he's a cool cat. And I appreciate DJ Play Nice dropping in, dropping a like, bumping that algorithm. Explain the electric universe theory next. I actually genuinely wish we had Steven Ransom here, because I often badmouth the electric universe, but I think he does a good job of like summing it up in a way that sounds reasonable. Essentially, I think the way Steven Ransom argues is that the current, interpretation of astrophysics is incomplete, and that the electric universe kind of completes or fills in the gaps on our theory. Now, my thing about the electric universe is I've watched the Thunderbolts project. I've watched, we actually did this a few months ago. We watched, what was it? The, how was it called? The Venus Project? No. It had a weird name. Like, it was like this magical energy reactor where they can mix gases with like electrical arc plasma, and it would allow them to create new elements. The problem is that if you're creating energy using some magical fusion reactor or cold fusion like device, the minute you produce new elements, some of that energy is now being wasted on producing elements. So it's either you're producing new elements, which could be really cool in its own right, or okay, there we go. So I had to mute the sound. Or you divert, that into just making energy, divert the resources into energy production, and you don't make new elements. But it was interesting, and what was weird was when we watched that video together, I was trying to pause the video on the part where you see the gauges, because I remember one of the first times I watched the video, they had like basically this like chamber inside of like a warehouse, and then they had a separate control room that was shielded from magnetic fields, like a shipping container or a Faraday cage. It was like a metal box with a plexiglass window and some video monitors and various controls. And basically they're able to control the electricity inside the chamber, which is like electrodes and anodes, or anodes and diodes. Like, so you basically have a copper sphere or a copper ball in the vacuum chamber, and you can, adjust the amount of electricity. No, it's all good, man. I appreciate it. Dude, I always make off-color jokes, so I can relate, man. No, you're cool, Wade. I appreciate your concern. I appreciate your, I appreciate your concern. You're good, man. You're Gucci. And, like, I often just make random jokes in other people's chats, and sometimes they enjoy it. Like, yesterday, I literally said during Anti-Derivative Joe's stream, I was like, I just say random shit and troll during streams sometimes, and immediately after saying, like, that's what I do, I just like to crack jokes and troll during the stream. Scotty's like, give this guy a wrench. There's a Scotty over. He's like, give this guy a wrench right now, And you got Canadian Spider-Man. This guy's just a cool dude. Look at it. He looks happy, man. He's just chilling right there, man. I gotta say, he's got a campfire, and he's got his like Phantom of the Opera mask. By the way, before I go to Texas next week, I need to find my hoodie. I actually own the same hoodie. Do you know what hoodie that Scotty's wearing? He's wearing the Star Trek movie hoodie. So there we go. Like, you can barely see it, but look, that's the hoodie from the Star Trek movies. Like, I mean, it's the uniform from Star Trek 2 through 6. It's also the uniform that Wesley... See, look, Moonbase Alpha. I made a reference to Moonbase Alpha from Space 1999. Apparently, somebody in the stream has not seen Space 1999, and I get it. I only saw it like 4 years ago. But getting back on topic. I apologize for yawning there, guys. So let's get back on topic here. So anyway, did I answer the question about the electric universe yet? So basically, I have problems with it mainly because like my biggest truth to freaking electric universe. Let's see if we can find a nice comet. Do we have a nice comet? Does anyone know the name of a comet with a tail? We'll go back to the solar system. We're going to find ourselves a nice, friendly comet, all right? So to find a nice, friendly comet, we got to go into the visual options. And we need to pick a comet that is near the sun. And that is 94 astronomical units away. So that is not near the sun. Oh boy. Okay, that's an asteroid. We need not to... I don't want to enable asteroids. There's way too many asteroids. Right. Good. It's a cool asteroid. As opposed to an uncool asteroid, I guess, right? This one's 6 AU away. Is it 6 AU away from the sun? Oh, good. Okay, that should be fine. So let's try this one. Kazakhstania. All right, so maybe not a good example, but the people who are in the electrical universe, Bop Hale. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, Hale Bop. Yeah, that might be one. Haley's Bop, Comet and Hale Bop. I have the yawns right now. The stream's not even over yet. All right, so anyway, we'll try Hale Bop real quick. Or, you know, we could find Hitler's Comet, Heil Bop. Okay, that's terrible. Now, I have a feeling Hale Bop already flew by, and so it doesn't have a tail. So we need to find a comet with a tail, in space engine. We need to find something like that. Let me see here. Okay, so I'm just really quickly looking over here. Comet Isons. Well, let's try Comet Ison. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, so I got an idea. We're gonna try rewinding time, and we're gonna try to make the comets. We're gonna try to get the comets to do the outgassing thing. So let's see what we can do here. So, right. Wait, how long was that on the wrong monitor? All right. I'm switching monitors. All right. So, okay, there's the comet. Great Comet of 1861. So, that would have been a comet. Okay, so maybe we could just find any comet that is near or inside Earth or Mars orbit. That would probably do the trick. Forbes has a comet. Oh yeah, wait, did I have a tail? Okay, good. Perfect. So now we can refute or at least give counterpoints to the whole electric universe thing. So there's 37P Forbes. What up, Awesome? One, thanks for dropping in. Wait, okay, good. I thought I clicked on the wrong thing. I clicked on another window. We gotta let it load. Now, let's see if we can rotate around it. So basically, the gist of it is a comet, and I'm gonna quote the Electric Universe people, or at least the people involved in the Thunderbolts project. Their dispute is they believe that a comet is seen to be as a dirty snowball in the mainstream, and their contention is that a comet is not just a dirty snowball. They believe that it's got electrical properties to it that go beyond the mainstream wisdom. And so, you know, just guys, give you guys a reference now. We're gonna fly into the comet again. And so what you're seeing is you just saw a rock. So you might be asking, why is that I just saw a rock and now you're seeing me zoom out on a tail? Like, what is it that you're looking at, right? And obviously this is computer generated imagery, right? So I'm not going to pretend that this purports to be a real comet, but generally speaking, if anybody was lying about what's in space, sooner or later an independent astronomer would prove it or provide evidence to support that. So basically imagine you got a rock and you got some ice on it. Now, if this rock was like further away than, say, Martian orbit or beyond Jovian or Jupiter's orbit, it's going to be straight up ice. You know, the sun isn't going to be bright or hot enough to melt that ice. Now, in space, when you melt ice, let's just say your comet is near the sun. Let's say you're on the surface of the moon and you dig a hole in the ground and you find some ice. Okay, is it going to just simply melt under sunlight? Think about it. You're in near vacuum or you're in actual vacuum. Of course, that's not going to happen. The moment that ice gets melted into water, it doesn't get an opportunity to turn into water, because in a vacuum environment, the lack of pressure basically causes it to boil, regardless of whether it's hot enough or not. It boils and turns into gas. I think the term is sublimate, meaning like go straight from ice to gas. And so now imagine you got a comet and it's in like a nice wide orbit of the Earth, you know, like maybe it's got like a nice wide orbit and it spends like 1,000 years, like, or maybe 50 years. In fact, this one has an orbit of, it should tell us over here somewhere, 6 years. So in the middle of its 6-year orbit, it's going to be out here somewhere where it's not going to be hot enough for it to outgas. But then, as you can see, it's an elliptical orbit, and it spends part of its orbit closer to the sun. And so it is during this time when it gets near the sun, so probably somewhere between like here, give or take, let's say maybe like here and here. I'm just guessing, and we could probably simulate it. So bottom line is that that's what's happening. That's why you get a tail around a comet. That ice is subliminating. Now, let's talk about the, you know, popular Thunderbolts project theory and electric universe. They believe that there's some electrical crap going on. And sometimes if you get into an argument in the comments with somebody who, like, you know, watched the documentary, and there's a documentary, yeah. So the documentary is named The Electric Comet. So for reference, we're going to Google it real quick. And we have it right here, The Electric Comet. And I remember I was watching a video, and this guy in the comments is saying, like, man, I used to watch all the space documentaries when I was, you know, a young adult. And then one day I saw a documentary called The Electric Comet. And ever since then, it makes so much more sense. So basically his argument was that, you know, science and science communicators and, you know, astrophysics makes this needlessly complicated. And it was thanks to this documentary that made it so clear and so simple. He now understands that comets are not what they say they are. And so basically that's the assertion.
Astronomers came to imagine short-term comets originating from a disk of debris called the Kuiper Belt, extending outward from Neptune's orbit. But then advanced computer simulations suggested that Kuiper Belt objects were too stable to be the source of most short-term comets.
So the Kuiper Belt is sort of like the asteroid belt, but larger and somewhere out beyond the orbit of Pluto. And it is a source of a lot of like chunks of ice, rocks, asteroids, and comets. The Oort cloud, however, is really where I think the action is at when it comes to comets.
One surprise at a time, the origin of comets has become increasingly uncertain. But
not exactly, but go on.
Always it is assumed that comets are composed of dust and ice warmed by the sun to create a coma and tail.
See, I told you I was right. See, the guy just took the words right out of my mouth. What was I telling you guys? But jokes aside, he's going to go and refute that now, or he's going to attempt to refute that. So while he refutes that, I'll read the messages.
Leaving a rind of dust. The theory suggests that beneath the blackened, shallow crust, pockets of gas form. At critical moments, the pressure breaks through the surface, creating jets blasting vapor and dust away from the nucleus.
That is correct. All right, case closed. But jokes aside, is a fart in space self-contained for all eternity, floating through space? No, because cosmic rays would basically break down the molecular bonds of the various, you know, elements that are in that fart. Now, if maybe you farted in orbit of a gas giant somewhere within the magnetic field, it might be protected from the cosmic rays, but then your fart would become part of that gas giant. I would assume that makes the most sense. I'm making this up, of course. Moving along.
Yes. But how well does this popular theory explain what we've more recently learned about comets?
I already downvoted the video. Like, see, I watched a good chunk of it and then I downvoted it. There we got the electric model of the comets. Hey, what's up, Queen Alexa? Thanks for dropping by.
In an alternative view, comets have a much
we got
different
someone on kick,
history.
and I think it's a real
This
human
view
this time. I'm
sees
so
comets
happy.
as debris
Queen
left
Alexa,
by
I've been
intense
getting so many
electrical
spam bots
activity
on
in
Kick.
an
I
earlier
thought there were
phase
no
of
human
solar
beings
system
on
evolution.
Kick, but it is nice
Not
to
billions
see a
of
human
years
being.
ago,
I'm assuming so.
but
I
a
don't
much
know.
more
Everyone could be a
recent
bot,
epoch
right?
of
But
planetary
if you are a human being,
instability and
thanks for tuning in.
violence. One that reached even
We're just
into
going to
Earth.
briefly critique on the Electric Comet documentary, and then we're going to get back to looking at some space CGI before I hopefully wrap it up so I can get to bed because it's a work night. But, you know, we do this every Monday. So, you know,
early human
tune in on Mondays if you're interested. We do a variety
This
of
new
content.
perspective combines historical facts with surprising recent discoveries about comets.
So, this is the thing. You get into a comment war with people, right? Or you'll get into a friendly debate. And people will say that, the Rosetta probe and the various cometary missions that was sent to the comets to measure things or whatever, that they detected electromagnetic properties, and therefore this invalidates the dirty snowball theory. And I would disagree, and I'll get on to why in a moment. Oh, no doubt. Well, I hope you're doing well, Alexa.
In the
and,
electrical interpretation, not just comets, but asteroids and
If anything,
meteors
asking
as well
actual stuff.
were born in planetary
chat
upheaval
bot.
as
Interesting.
electric
Who knows, right?
arcs blasted
But
material from the
I'll
surfaces
assume
of
good
planets
faith
and
unless
moons to
someone's selling me
produce
something. Nothing,
fused
so we have people
formations
selling us
identical
crap
in
on Restream
appearance
today. That's
to
why I'm so,
fused material in
paranoid.
laboratory experiments with electric discharge. Here, an arriving comet moves on an elliptical path through the sun's electric field, an exceedingly weak field, but immensely powerful across the great distances of interplanetary space. As the comet draws closer to the sun, the charge imbalance triggers electric discharge, creating a coma and long cometary tail. The mysterious jets of comets can then be understood in terms of arc discharges to the nucleus, very similar to industrial electric discharge machining. The excavated material is accelerated into space along the jet's filamentary pathways. Intermittent and wandering arcs erode the surface and burn it black, leaving the distinctive scarring patterns of comet nuclei.
It's an interesting theory, but I don't think it rules out ice and water sublimination. But getting to the more important, aspect of this, like electrical phenomenon in space are not mutually exclusive from what we just talked about. So when we're looking at this comet and space engine, it's like, okay, I guess it has like a surface that looks like it's been pockmarked, and I mean, granted, it's gonna get impacted by things, and it's exposed to hard radiation and all of that jazz. But at the end of the day, I don't see why this has to be mutually exclusive from the whole idea of ice being sublimated into gaseous form. Because, yes, in space, electrical things are a thing. Like, it's like not a surprise. It's not a secret. Like, it's like when you get out into space, you're not protected by the Earth's atmosphere, and you're not protected by the Earth's magnetic field. You're exposed to not only intergalactic cosmic rays, but even, radiation that is more local, especially stuff from our own sun. And as you have different solar flare activity or prominences, you're going to have certain energy outputs and stuff like that. But bottom line is that, okay, so it gets heated up by the sun, you get the outgassing. But I don't see a reason why charged particles from the sun can't interact with that moisture. So problem I have with the Electric Comet documentary is, if you continue to watch it, they seem to basically imply or outright state that comets are not comprised of ice, or the tails on comets are not the result of ice turning into gas, and that it's all about this electrical phenomenon. And it sounds like it makes a lot of sense. It does. And the problem is, though, some people in the comments will back it up by saying, oh, but NASA sent this probe out and they detected this electrical stuff. It's like, well, yeah, because this exist in space. Like, once again, like I said, it's not a surprise. Like, it's like you can have moisture, or you can have ice turning into gas interacting with charged particles from the sun. So I don't know how else to put it in a more succinct way, but I don't see how that invalidates the more established theory on the matter right now. Also, my problem was that, like, we have records of the Rosetta probe. You know, we know they visited the comet. We can read about the records. We can look at some of the raw data from that, and it doesn't exactly concur with the idea that it's mutually exclusive from, you know, the established theories. So what I wanted to know was, what was the name of that first comet they showed us a minute ago?
To fuse
I want to see this comet right here.
and
This was Comet Hartley 2. I could hardly find it. So let's see if we can find it. Hartley. Okay, so it's categorized as an asteroid right here, but let's see what we get. So there's the comet. We might have to rewind time to see it with the tail. So let's do a science experiment, all right? So we're going to rewind time. Is this comet even flying close enough to the sun to outguess? Am I even looking at the right comet? Oh, it's Hartley 2. I'm looking at Hartley 1. I'm sorry. All right, I don't have a Hartley 2, so I guess I can't show you. Comet Hartley. Okay, so it doesn't exist. So we should have just stuck. What was the name of the last comet we were looking at? Oh, it doesn't matter. I think you guys get my drift. 90 minutes. Thank you, James. I think we'll wrap it up in like, I don't know, 15 minutes, I say. But yeah, any questions, any responses, any comments, any objections, or any, you know, pushback? I'm all for pushback. We can have a fight right now. No, jokes aside, no. But seriously, any challenges at all, or anything where you guys think maybe I'm being too mainstreamish? You know what I mean? Like, let me know. So I'm just checking something. I would grab some gas if it didn't fall into a gas giant, I suppose. That's a fair point. Could it be matter gathered from going through volcanic gas clouds? Fascinating idea. And, you know, it's funny you mentioned that. I don't think so necessarily, because, I mean, like, if it is, it could be like from when we were a protoplanetary disk, you know, when the planets were still a bunch of dust and clouds and crap. Because essentially, the solar system once looked a bit like the rings of Saturn. And then as larger objects kind of acted like shepherd comets, it would sweep up matter. So let's take a look at two things. We're going to take a look at, I think it was Io, which is in the orbit of Jupiter. Is that Io? That don't look like Io. Oh, this is an asteroid. Okay, so let's go and find Io, the planet, the moon known as Io, as opposed to the asteroid, not ass. I'm sorry, my mind's in the gutter. I apologize. Okay, so we could do, we're going to do, so we're going to go to Jupiter first. Spelled how? Which part spelled how? Farts? F-A-R-T-S. Oh, Io. I believe Io is spelled I-O. Oh my God, it's a fly again. Sorry, pardon my language. All right. So anyway, we can see the orbits of the major moons. Jupiter has basically 4 large moons. So typically, if I was looking at Jupiter to my telescope, we would see this fly in my head. I don't think the fly likes that I open my window, but you would literally see like the points of light like next to Jupiter, something like this. You can sort of see how, like, you know, if you were looking at Jupiter from Earth, how the moons might look something like this, like almost like 1, 2, 3, 4. So it might, you can see like there's bright points of light. These are the major moons. Now what I did was I turned on these orange dots. These orange dots are the minor moons that you normally couldn't see with a telescope from here. And so I can enable their orbits. But what we're going to do is we're going to click on something here. So you got Thebe, you got Amalthea. So let's take a look at Amalthea. I think Amalthea is like a walnut-looking thing. There's Amalthea, or Amalthea. It's also a class of ship from Mobile Suit Victory Gundam. So we're going to go, when we visit Saturn, these minor moons are going to be more, you know, correct. I mean, more relevant. So just stick with me for a second. Now we're going to go take a look at Io. That's Io right over there. Everyone has a like and a bell set, correct? I believe everyone does, because would anybody not do that on my channel with this such lovely content? And this is a Torrid Airless Mini Terror, or Torrid Airless Mini Earth, which is just a cute way of saying Mini Earth. Anyway, so it has no air. It's freaking cold. I think. No, it's actually. Is it cold? Torrid. Doesn't torrid mean hot? Well, it says negative 148 degrees centigrade as the average temperature, which means nothing to me because average temperature is just a weird measure. Like with climate change, it confuses the F out of me because it's like, how do you even measure global average? Like, I get how you can measure global average temperature. It just annoys me because, like, I don't know, like it'd be nice, like, if we had maybe a global average temperature based on the season. So global average temperature in the northern hemisphere during the summer, global average temperature in the southern hemisphere during the winter, or during its respective winter. That would be like, so you should have maybe 4 sets of average temperatures for any given planet, or at least for our own planet. That's how I would see it. Does it circle back around? Which one? The comet? Yes. Some comets don't, and I can show you an example of those. But the comets we were looking at do circle back around. So, you know, we do have opportunities to see them come back again. And, like, in fact, that one of those comets was a 6-year orbit. So anyway, the reason I showed this was someone mentioned volcanic gas. Was it James or Dave? Well, anyway, bottom line is this is a volcanic moon. And there's some pictures, I think, of this moon or another moon where you can actually see the plume shooting off of the side of it. Like, they got like a really good orbit and they were close enough to see it, and you could literally see the volcanic plume. Now on this one here, the imagery is only such a high resolution, there comes a point where it's like pointless to zoom in, but you can see even on the dark side, we can see, like, you know, all of that. How do I disable the labeling here? All right, so, you know, we could turn on brightness mode. How do we do this? Yeah, there we go. So this is like natural lighting. So this is what you would see, like, looking at the sun, you might go blind, but this is sort of the brightness you'd be dealing with when looking at the sunlight reflecting off the planet. What we like to do is we like to artificially turn on high dynamic range, because this looks pretty cool, but sometimes it's nice to see the stars, especially when you're turning on the labels and you want to see, like, where every star is. It could be helpful, although it looks like I don't have star labels enabled right now. Oh, I see, that's why. Well, anyway, if we zoom in close, let's see, I saw a volcanic region. I'm like, here we go. See? Volcanism. Now, once again, like I said, the resolution of the scan is only so high, but we can, like, you know, do something like this. Maybe just get an idea of, like, scan the surface a little bit. Nah, I didn't really see the northern lights with my telescope. Maybe if I had the wide angle lens hooked up to, like, the meteorite camera, I could have seen something. But also, if I'm not in upstate New York, it's kind of pointless. You know, if I'm upstate, it's easier to see the northern lights. But down here in, you know, New York City proper, the light pollution environment is such that it's almost pointless to even try to see that sort of thing, you know? So that's where I'm at right now. So now we're going to jump over to Saturn, and for good reason. Were you able to capture the footage of the recent comet? Oh my god, I missed that one. I would have liked to see, but no, I didn't bother. Forgot about it. It's funny, I'm probably better equipped than I was when I started this hobby. I remember a while back, I was imaging NEO-wise, and I kind of caught the comet, but it was in the northern sky, and I had way too much zoom on that particular telescope for it to really be seen in context. So, like, zooming in on a comet and nothing else can be kind of boring, but zooming in on a comet and having some stars in the background, that is kind of cool, right? So anyway, we're going to take a good look. So first of all, we're going to set the date and time. So we're going to go and set it to, like, there we go. 2, I want to direct your attention here. So we got Mimas, and we got a number of other moons in orbit of Saturn. It's very interesting because all of those moons are along the plane of the ecliptic, as you can see here, right? But you'll notice the orange ones. We do have a number of orange ones. So we got Pandora, Prometheus, Pan, Daphnis, Janus, Atlas, Methadone. Now it says Why are the ducks quacking out the window? Hey, what up, Bodega? So anyway, we're gonna go look for a shepherd moon. And a shepherd moon would be something like this one over here that doesn't even have a real name. And so right there, we're now in the rings of Saturn, and I believe I did pause time because I sometimes pause time to help. Oh no, no, time is moving along. So this is actually perfect because normally when you fly around the rings of Saturn, these little like fake rocks that you're seeing here, which are basically chunks of ice and asteroids, but mostly ice, they move around so quickly that you don't get to really see them flying by slowly like this. Some of these are the size of a Volkswagen. Some of them are the size of golf balls, you know, just to give you an idea of the type of matter you're dealing with. But because we are matching the orbit of dwarf moon S2009 S1, a frigid asteroid with a diameter of 4,463 meters, so it's very small. And I refer to it as a shepherd moon because it stays in an orbit where, well, let's see here. We can kind of demonstrate that. I shared your channel on Shans Ingenti Art. I had a fly next to me. And that, oh yeah, I remember you did that last week. I appreciate that. I got to check that channel out.
Election day is...
I'm just making a note here. Why are we posting a link to New Tang Dynasty? I mean, I'm with it, James. I'm with it. I do like NTD. They do good work. I'm just bookmarking the link that awesome one mentioned so that I can there we go. And I do appreciate if anybody from that channel did tune in, and I appreciate you sharing the link regardless. Even if nobody tunes in, I still appreciate the share. There we go. I got that channel linked over here so I can watch it. Is that a video I should be watching, James? Or like watching on stream, I mean? Pancake asteroid, correct. That's a good way to put it. So anyway, let's just fly on out real quick. So okay, there's the rings of Saturn again. And so basically like what you're gonna see is you're gonna see like the major part of the ring, and I believe the thick part of the line is called the Cassini division because I guess, you know, Cassini, whatever the guy's name is, Cassini discovered it many years ago. And another one would be Daphnis. So let's go and take a look at Daphnis or Daphnes. And that's a perfect example because you can see right here how it sort of clears a path within the ring system. And once again, we matched its orbital speed, so we can, you know, literally go inside the rings in real time and roughly simulate what you would see if you were in orbit of those things. Oh, I got you. That's the civics movie, How American Elections Work. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's actually very fascinating. Because like today I did retweet something about the Electoral College. Someone showed like a map, and in the map it was showing you how like the majority of the American population resides at like a handful of coastal cities, and it wasn't even all of them. It was like New York, some area on the coast of Florida, and California. And it's like that's like where like most of the population is. And so of course people from those cities are bitching that like, oh no, the will of the people. And I get it. I actually understand for like the logical argument about the will of the people. But what's not commonly understood these days is there is a case against the tyranny of the majority. And in particular, you got to remember, your cities rely on the farmers to bring you your food, you know? And if you don't let the farmers get a say, the cities will keep voting to maybe increase their taxes, maybe keep voting on things that will make it harder to be a farmer. And before you know it, we're not getting food from the farmers and we're all eating bugs. So the Electoral College could potentially save us from that situation. But that being besides the point, that's just a far-fetched example I just gave. The more, you know, I guess, like, to the point is whenever there's an election and one side gets the majority vote, but gets the popular vote, but doesn't get the Electoral College vote, they tend to get upset and they want reform. They don't want the Electoral College system as we have it today. But when a given side wins the election, they typically don't complain about the Electoral College. You didn't see during the last election anybody going, oh my God, even though Joe Biden won and I want Joe Biden to win, we really got to do away with the Electoral College. You don't hear anybody complain about the Electoral College whenever their candidate wins. So I just, you know, kind of, maybe I'm just projecting, but that's my observation-based opinion. I do want to say hello to Pacific 414. We had a great time with deleted scenes the other night. We just had a, friendly, what do you call it? Members stream. And it was a good time. And I talked to deleted scenes, and he says he'll put me on the list to join him on his whatchamacallit, on his physical media stream. So I'll be sure to post that out because I have some cool physical media right here. I'm looking at it right now. And I'll look forward to the opportunity to share some of my favorite articles of physical media. And once again, have a good night, Pacific 414. Thanks for dropping a like. But yeah, so, that's going to be fun when that happens. I'll post a link out because I'm looking at my physical media. I'm ogling over it. I have the nicest physical media. I have the best. How does Donald Trump say it? I have the best physical media. It's tremendous. It's a tremendous physical media collection. It's just the best. Okay, I'm sorry. The other link is for Chaos for You 728. He's streaming Diablo 4. Oh, cool. I love Chaos. And he always promotes my channel. So definitely, like, at the end of his stream, like, I'll be watching him at like 3 a.m. listening to music, and then I'll see he's ending his stream, and I'll put the volume back up, and he'll be like, and I want to shout out DJ Ronnie G. And he's like, he talks about how I do turtles and astronomy or space and something, and he's like, I love space and I love robots. That's what he says. When is NASA going to send a probe to view Sailor Moon more closely? Ooh, I don't know, but that is your tax dollars at work right there. No doubt, man. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Pacific. So yeah, anyway, so bottom line is that those are shepherd moons. So why were we talking about this? I forgot why I was showing you guys the moons of Saturn, but oh yeah, I remember why. So basically the early solar system may have, and because I don't want to say it's definitively. I don't like this bullshit when people are like, it's settled science, I mean, sometimes it is, but even then there's a more diplomatic way to argue with people about the state of science as we know it. But you could just imagine like the early solar system would have had like a more continuous asteroid belt. And you would have had rocks like the one in front of us. And as the smaller stuff collides with that rock, perhaps it would have gotten larger like a snowball. And as that snowball gained more mass, it would be able to draw in and clump up and accumulate more matter. And as that gained more gravity, you would end up with something, like larger moons. And so if Saturn is the sun and this is a planet, eventually it would grow to a larger size and it would pick up all of the material of the rings. Now, I believe I read something once that says that the rings of Saturn are slated to disappear in due time, given enough time, like millions or thousands of years. But don't quote me on that. That's just, something I heard, and I don't even know if it was accurate at the time I heard it. So, yeah, I forgot why we were talking about that, but that's one theory for the early formation of the solar system. We had a protoplanetary disk, assuming the sun already existed. You had a protoplanetary disk around it, and using the Hubble Space Telescope, using the VLT, using the ELT or the Extra Large Telescope, whatever it's called, using various large telescopes, including the did they do this on James Webb yet? I don't know, but definitely with the Hubble, we can look at other solar systems at various states of formation as we look further and further back in time. And so astronomers are, I don't know how confident they are, but they're speculating that, okay, this is a solar system that may have looked like our solar system in its youth. So take that as you might. So what else did we want to look at in space before we wrap it up? Do we want to look at a novel-shaped moon? Oh, look at that. Okay, so this is actually really relevant. So these are all of the dwarf moons in orbit of Saturn. Jupiter has them too, so we can use the same trick. So earlier we did this, right, where we pressed F1. So there's all of the dwarf moons. And what's really cool is, remember weeks ago we crashed Space Engine by showing the entire universe and using up all my RAM? Apparently you can do that in this mode without crashing Space Engine. But in this you can see how we can see Saturn, or we can see one of these, and we can zoom in on each of these like this. So there's Jupiter now, and you can see how Jupiter's got the major moons, and then you got these weirdly, crisscrossy type things, and so on and so forth. You got the asteroid belt here. These are just all asteroid belts objects. And then I believe Venkman Fansite had a valid question about comets. And here's an interesting one. So you can see this red line, how it slingshots. So we know that this thing is a comet, but we don't even know the full extent of its orbit. Or here's one popular one. I think you guys know this one. Oumuamua. we all know Oumuamua, right? Because that jerk off Dr. Avi Loeb is going around being all like, it's an alien spaceship. Fucking jerk off. Anyway, so I have an issue with Avi Loeb. I just don't like that. Like, he gets to like, I don't know. I don't like the way he's like, he's not scientific. Like, I don't like the way Avi Loeb goes out to the ocean with a boat and a magnet, and he sweeps up metal particles from the sea floor, and he's like, look, we found interstellar alien fragments. And it's like, dude, you found metal iron, chunks of iron on the sea floor. Any idiot could sweep the ocean floor with a magnet. And it's like, if he did any kind of control, he didn't do a complete control. Yeah, I know. I went off the rails here, didn't I? Oh, well, I didn't go off the rails. For once, I didn't go on the rails. When bare naked ladies quits cocaine. Well, shucks. Yeah, cocaine is a hell of a drug. Hey, Trent Reznor. Trent Reznor apparently got off the dope and married someone. Anything is possible, David Glenn. This is true. I'm just reading the chat right now. These are not my words. He's still brilliant, but a bit lost without the angry at everything vibe. And then Venkman fan says like, huh? Hey, what up, L? And thanks, LDP, for tuning in. So, if LDP is watching, yeah, we did a crash course on OBS video encodings, but I'm easily sidetracked, so I may have to do like a separate video during the week where we do that again. But if you have any questions, shoot me a DM or leave me a comment. Let me know if you want me to focus on any specific aspect of the first, like I said, I kind of skimmed through it during the first 10 or 20 minutes of the stream for you. But like I said, I probably was a little discombobulated. So anyway, Oumuamua is the first interstellar visitor. Of course, it's not the first. It's just the first one that's been like documented and measured and all of that. And I remember I was watching this like conspiracy theory YouTuber, and he was saying like, he was showing a picture of Oumuamua, and really all it looked like was a picture of the stars. Actually, it looked like a single dot, and then multiple stars looked like they were streaking. And in fact, let's get a picture of that. We're gonna get a real picture of Oumuamua right after we hide the comets. Although that's interesting. There's a comet called Lemon. I'm kind of curious to look at comet named Lemon. I can't zoom out. My right click button suddenly don't want to work. Uh-oh. I think I have a problem with my input device. All right. There we go. So once again, here's another one. Peter Venkman fan site. Look at that. Look at that. So we were looking at our solar system a moment ago. Okay, I need to turn off these comets. They're way too much. All right. So look, so that's our solar system, right? You know, the solar system we know and love. And then that's a comet. I clicked on a comet named Lemon. And look at that, like orbit. That orbit doesn't even have a trajectory that gets measured. But the reason I brought up Oumuamua is partially for fun, because it was measured relatively recently. And what made people suspect that Oumuamua was something special, like a interstellar visitor. Like some people thought, look, maybe it's not like aliens that are alive. Maybe it's an interstellar probe that hasn't been running in millennia, and it's just been flying here with no electricity and no radio, no nothing, right? But let's go back to Oumuamua, and I'm going to show you a cool angle. So obviously the sunlight is coming from this side, right? So if we were on Earth, we might be looking at something like this, right? Okay, so now here's what we're going to do. We're going to turn off HDR mode. Liz Lemon. better than Don Lemon. So, like, this is kind of like what you would see on a telescope of a high caliber. Okay, like, and you're not going to get any better resolution than this. And even this is kind of like, it's tricky. Oh, man, Stargate Universe was actually really good. I used to hate Stargate Universe, but I eventually came to learn to love it. So, one of the ways that you can take a picture of this, because the issue with this, the reason we knew it was a comet or something special was because of the very high speed Oumuamua was moving at. So, let's say you magnify on a telescope, right? Or you got a narrow field of view. You would have to track it because it's moving fast. So if your telescope was to match the speed at which this was moving, and you zoomed in on it as close as you could, you would. I don't have LDP programmed into the. I can click on his name though. I didn't put him into the stream elements yet, But yeah, LDP is cool, dude. I got him on my channel list here. I mean, well, I'm subscribed, I mean. And that is where we would get the hyperlink. Let me know if you guys want me to paste the link, or if you got it already, James, I won't paste it. But if you want me to paste it, I already have it. So, oh wait, wrong button. The ancient aliens astronauts decided to wait several hundred years before coming back. I used to love that show, In Search Of, where Leonard Nimoy would do the narration, and they did an episode about ancient astronauts. Yep. So anyway, my point is that if you were to have to follow this horizontally while it was moving fast, all of these stars, like you see a star here, you see one here, you can barely see it, they would be streaking. So, oh yeah, that's what I meant to do. I'm sorry. I meant to get a real picture of Oumuamua. And you're going to get a lot of these fake pictures here, right? But you can see like the fake one, artist rendition, a thumbnail from a clickbait YouTube video like 7 minutes ago, James Webb Space Telescope reveals Oumuamua. Like that's how you know it's like clickbait or spam. But we got a couple pictures here. So I'm going to click on these two. I'm going to click on the NASA Planetary Sciences website, and we're going to click on the Wikipedia, and we're going to click on the picture that I'm missing now that I can't see. Where is it? This one looked interesting to me. I was interested in this one here. So there we go. So basically, that's Oumuamua. That's all we really saw. Like, as I understand it, this is the best picture. So I remember some conspiracy theorists, and look, I'm not knocking all conspiracy theorists. I have my fair share of opinions. I mean, I kind of am open-minded to Bigfoot. Not necessarily sold on it, but open-minded to Bigfoot. You know, if you were to keep this stationary in your telescope, everything else that's not moving at the same speed would end up looking like a streak. And so a conspiracy guy was saying like, oh, you know, the government definitely has better telescopes than this. There's no way this is the best picture. But it's like, no, actually, this is probably what you'd get on some of the better optics. And this is actually the William Herschel telescope on the Canary Islands. Actually, it's a pretty big one. You got like, look at that ladder. Look how big that freaking ladder is, yo. I would love to just go and drink a beer up there or something. I mean, I don't know, just out of principle, I'd love to just sit up there and drink a beer. Maybe not a beer. I wouldn't want to slip on the way down. But you get the idea. It's a big-ass telescope, you know, and I bet you it's got a big fat mirror. Can we see the mirror? Ooh la la, look at the mirror on her. I can't whistle. Okay, I don't know why I'm having trouble whistling. I think I just got to practice. Anyway, yeah, but that looks like a, like almost like a Schmidt astrograph, I would say. And it's on what looks like a fork mount, a humongous fork mount, and that looks like film. Is that thing running on film? Wait, where the hell is it? Is that film? Or is that just weights? Did they just do weightlifting because, you know, you got nerds working at the observatory, so they're like, oh, we got to lift weights so we can be less nerd-like. No, but jokes aside, I'm sorry, I keep zooming in the wrong way there. I'm just trying to get a close look at the equipment on the back of this here. Those look like, actually, those do look like, look at that. Those are counterweights. So it's sort of like my telescope when I have to balance the based on the payload. So if you put a different equipment, so for example, one of these boxes can contain a spectrograph, which is like a prism, a piece of glass that can split light into different colors in order to measure what type of elements are in orbit of different places. So if you put a heavier payload on this side, or if you put a heavier payload on the right side, you need to balance out the difference on the opposing side. So I think that's sort of what we're looking at right here, right now. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, you know, so that's the Herschel Observatory, or yeah, the telescope at the Herschel Observatory. And so this is the telescope that it took to take that picture. And could you have gotten a better picture? Maybe, but telescope time is a limited resource. And so, yeah, nobody was going to waste Hubble time on a fast-moving comet where you weren't going to get much more detail anyway. So my point is, like, I don't know how we even gathered that it's an oblong shape, but essentially, let's just pretend that we had a really good telescope. We would see this. So what you're seeing here is this is more like an artist rendition. We don't actually know if the surface of this thing looks like this. But, you know, you make your inferences. So why did people think Oumuamua is an interstellar probe? Well, if you see something bright and shiny like this, what could it be? Well, let's see here. Let's try Oumuamua solar sail. I'll just give you guys like an example of like what people say it is, not what I think it is, but what people say it is. So, you know, maybe you're seeing something like this from the side. or maybe you're seeing something like this from the side. See, it looks like a little parachute, because a solar sail would look really big from the front, but from the side, it would look very skinny and very long, and it would reflect a crap ton of light. So that's what is speculation. But the problem is this jerk is the guy who kind of like is floating a lot of theories about it, and he lost a lot of credibility in my book, because like he just hasn't really done any real research. He hasn't really like, you know, like done any like falsifiable hypotheses that he can actually demonstrate. It's like, it's all speculation and hype. And it's like, you got people who do real science, like, what's his name? David, you know who I'm talking about. Angela did a very good video about it, right? Let's find that one. Angela Collier, Avi Loeb crackpot. See, look at that thumbnail. Gotta love the thumbnail. It's a perfect thumbnail.
Obviously, it's
this young lady, I don't know if she's cool in real life or not. I don't know what her political views, but I know that she definitely had a good spin on this topic, or maybe not spin, but a level. Yeah, I would say she had a level perspective on this matter right here. So, you know, let's borrow her bullet points right over here, and I'll drop the video right here. I'm gonna actually put in the title, because I want to make sure that we put Avi on blast. I love how she didn't even put capital letters in the title of her video. I mean, I'm not against it, but I uphold better standards for grammar. And I somehow copied and pasted the time index on the video. Oh well. Okay. So speaking of standards, I copied and pasted the time index. Okay. How to spot a crackpot theory. 1. Addresses the biggest problems in physics. 2. Lacking mathematical rigor, experimental evidence, etc. 3. Respond with anger. Claim the physics establishment has blacklisted them. Cite Galileo, Einstein, etc. So oftentimes, you know, Galileo is seen as someone who's been persecuted. That's someone that Avi Loeb has referenced and not only compared himself to, but literally has like an organization called like the Galileo Project or some stupid shit like that. Right. They are not physics theories. And that's the thing, like what Avi Loeb is floating these days are not physics theories. So these are some of the issues with, you know, that I think are valid criticisms of Avi Loeb. And so, you know, I don't know if we have more bullet points, but I like bullet points. I like pictures. So, who's this guy? I guess this is a real scientist. 1979, for contributions to nuclear data measurement, analysis, and applications through determination and development of neutron-induced reaction cross-sections, high-resolution neutron scattering and non-local nuclear optical model, and uncertainty and covariance information. That alone sounds like the guy's smart. Jokes aside, I don't know if she's giving him an example of a real scientist or a bullshit scientist.
Number
but
2.
I just love the style of this video. It runs down to points, and at some point they're showing like this like live stream where Avi Loeb is in a live stream with like a StreamYard stream with like this lady who's like there it is. This is it. Good. All right. Good. I found it. Yeah, I got it. It's literally what I'm looking for. Just to show how much of a dick this guy is, you know?
To throw the entire scientific culture.
Okay, so Jill Tarter is like kind of a big deal. She is like a person who did some major stuff in exoplanetary research, and I just want to type here without my internet history coming up. There we go. All right. So Jill Tarter, born 1944. Jill Tarter is an American astronomer best known for her work on the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Okay, she's a SETI person. Tarter is the former director of the Center for SETI Research, holding the Bernard M. Oliver Chair for SETI at the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence Institute. Some crap like that. I don't know. But anyway, so that's her thing. And, you know, now Avi Loeb is going to yell at her.
Under the bus, because some of us have been thinking about and building instruments to find anomalies for a very long time. And I think that when we say that if we ever are going to announce such a detection, that we require extraordinary evidence, we're doing that as a way of differentiating ourselves from the pseudoscience that is so much a part of popular culture.
We need extraordinary evidence and then step on the grass and not allow it to grow, which is currently the case. We need extraordinary evidence, but anyone that mentions this possibility is ridiculed by some blogger that doesn't even write a single paper in a decade. That makes no sense whatsoever. This blogger should first practice science.
Well, some of us do.
No, let me finish. How dare people make statements about scientists and a factor of 100 more people working?
I just love how like it's like the fast forwarding the tape. I love how she's fast forwarding. Whoever edited this is just straight fast forwarding the tape on this, and he's like still not shutting the fuck up.
On it, not at the SETI Institute, but everywhere, in every university, this becoming a mainstream subject, just like string theory is. Why should we fund searches for dark matter and not for technological civilizations as part of the mainstream? That's my argument, and I find it really surprising that I get opposition from you to that notion.
How dare you?
Actually, I said it 40 years ago.
Speaking
You're
of how
saying
dare
it now. I want credit for that. You don't get
728 has
credit.
a hilarious clip of
like,
that.
We are trying to promote a common cause.
Chaos for You 728 has a video of Greta Thunberg wearing dominatrix garb saying, "How dare you?" So imagine Greta Thunberg but wearing like black leather and a whip, and she's like, "How dare you?" He's got one of those on. He's got like a soundboard or a video board button.
You're arguing with me about credit. I just don't understand it.
I just don't understand it.
Do you know who he's yelling at? It's Jill Tarter. Jill Tarter.
Yeah, it's Jill
you might not
Tarter.
know her.
Okay, I introduced her already, so you guys got my drift. So yeah, let's look at this beautiful telescope. I mean, the young lady's pretty too, but the telescope, I'm hoggling over that, man. Speaking of telescopes, before I go to bed, we need to do one more thing. So let me just double check a couple of things. Oh yeah, let me go back to this monitor. I apologize. And yes, I know monitor and a monitor. We'll fix that right now. Wow, it's still doing it. Look at that. It's actually working tonight. So what's going on here? My backyard telescope did multiple pictures using the red, blue, and green filters. And it's even doing the autofocus. I suspect that it got tripped up by a cloud because the V curve it's plotting is a little bit off. But this is working. This means I can go to bed tonight and it'll continue to do what it's doing right now. So this is great, man. When we get into the dead of winter, when it gets really cold outside and the air is crystal clear, I'll be able to like literally like at the very minimum tell it to automatically take multiple pictures of a given, target like a nebula or a star cluster. Possibly, I should be able to program this to automate imaging multiple targets. So in theory, I should be able to set this up so that the telescope will automatically aim itself at a given list of targets or deep sky objects. And every time it aims at a new target, it's going to, autofocus, align the telescope, make sure it's actually on the target, and then, take pictures in each respective filter or channel of color. So it's doing the red, blue, and green channels separately. And this is great. So I'll revisit that in a moment. We want to take a look because I love the jokes I'm getting here. So we have some jokes. It's just Gundam from a Type 2 civilization. And then what was the other one? It's a giant eclair. It does look like it looks like a giant eclair. Also looks like a giant piece of whale poop. I saw that reference too. That's a good one too. Your other brothers can't deny. I like that mirror and I cannot lie. I like fat mirrors and I cannot lie. Okay. I might be a little behind on the chat in that regard. I have so many notifications right now. It says Real Wade Nation, who I think went to bed already. It's a steak. All right. So we got a lot of ideas. So anyway, what does Dr. Becky think of Sabine Hosfelder? I don't know what Dr. Becky thinks of Dr. Sabine Hosfelder. I have mixed reviews on her. I remember she was like being like really grumpy about climate change, but then she also doesn't seem like to be the most annoying person on the subject. Like she seems to like be into the whole climate change thing, but she also doesn't seem to buy the entire narrative hook, line, and sinker. Because the real issue I have once again is I don't like the idea of the super rich living in the lap of luxury, telling us that we have to, have a reduction in our standards of living while they continue to, do the whole happy dippy thing. So anyway, I think we did enough looking at Oumuamua, and I think I made the case why, look, it could be something, it could be an interstellar visitor. It could be a probe. It could be a solar sail that was dragging a, interstellar probe that has long since died because we haven't picked up any radio signals. But at this point, where is it going? Where did it come from would be the question. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to do. So this is the fun thing. So this goes back to something Venkman mentioned before. So we would ask, where did Oumuamua come from? So I'm going to show you how we could check, and I'm going to tell you why it won't work. So there's Oumuamua's elliptical slingshot orbit, right? So what we know is that Oumuamua came in from down here and slingshotted up here. So theoretically, if we crank up the time real fast, right, until it starts moving forward, and then we tell it to go in reverse, we should be able to follow it back to where it came from, right? I mean, not right, but let's just pretend for a minute, right? Right? So let's try it out. So we're going to follow Oumuamua where it came from. So look at that. We're already leaving the solar system, bruh. Okay, I don't know why I just said bro. I sound like a gym bro. So there's our solar system. Let's turn on the stars again. We'll put on bright Star Trek stars for, the fun of it, just like the original series of Star Trek, so that you can see the stars nice and clearly. You can see the Milky Way. Oh, I didn't show my Milky Way. Well, I have them posted on a community post. I took pictures of the Milky Way galaxy from my smartphone in upstate New York. All right, so basically, where is it going? Can we track it? Let's see. Let's press F1. And time is still traversing, so let's increase the time. And here's a cool thing. Look at the comets. A lot of the comets will look like they're expanding from the solar system, because a lot of the comets were only measured as they were near the sun. So they basically can only fly away from oh god, I lost it. I think I lost the Oumuamua. Uh-oh. Okay, so there's a Oumuamua, but we don't have a nice red line anymore. Okay, there it is. And it does that. Yes, it's going to spin a lot, so it's a little dizzying. But where is it going to go? Can we identify the nearest star? Can we figure out where it's going? It's going in this direction. Where is that? Well, it looks like it's going... Oh, okay, that's the mathematics. Oh, yeah, by the way, the mathematical precision is way off. Now, by the way, we are currently in the year 300 AD. Now we're at the year, basically, we're now at 100 years BC. Now, I'm going to pause it at some point, but we're going to just have a little fun. We're going to follow it along. Looks like it's going towards... Well, let's see here. Oh, good. Wait, we flew past some stars. All right, so I paused time. Now let's see where we are. Okay, so there's, the view we were looking at before, right? I want to try to get it from a better angle, so we're just going to rotate this. All right, so now... All right, so it's getting kind of near Barnard's star. So, okay, so I probably shouldn't have rotated it because that would confuse everybody, but I like looking at the numbers from the other way. But if you look here, we can see the solar system right here on the bottom. So it moved along this triangular path. It probably didn't come from Barnard's star, but where did it come from? Well, let's keep flying out and see. Oh, there we go. Found it. It came from there. Now, it didn't really come from there, but we're going to have some fun here for a minute, all right? So, LSRJ, blah, 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 all right? Let's go and see what LSRJ... Okay, so LSRJ is just a binary system, which means it's kind of boring. Wait, what is that? Is it a binary system, or is that just a nearby star? I think that's just a nearby star. Barry Center. Okay, so that's the Barry Center. It is a binary looking system, but I don't know if they're actually orbiting each other because I'm not getting any orbital path between them. I think they're just a significant... I don't know. Let's see. Let's try fast forwarding time. All right, we're in the year 5000 and nothing. Now, sometimes the software just gets really wonky when you fast forward it to the year 10,000. But here's the issue now. We could go and follow Oumuamua backwards in time as far as we want. The problem is that, of course, the Milky Way galaxy is moving, right? To some extent. And so, you know, we're moving around the sun. The sun is moving around the Milky Way galaxy. And known space is currently the group of stars that I'm going to try to illuminate. Oh, my mouse pointer is slow again. That's weird. That's why things were slow before. All right. Well, anyway. Hey, what's up, some person? Thanks for dropping by. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. All right, so I don't know why. Sometimes I think the software gets a little wonky. Oh, okay, that's interesting. We have a little bug with the... We have an interesting little bug here. Okay, so, oh goodness. That's where the Earth is. So, hypothetically, if we rotate with the Earth, that didn't work. All right, that's better. So, we're going to rotate with the sun. So, now, in the middle of this area is like the well-cataloged known space that we're familiar with. Do you have Pillars of Creation? Oh, that's a good one. Let's give it a shot. I don't have my own picture of it, but we could take a look at that. I think that's a good way to end this stream, as a matter of fact. I like that. So basically, you know, like this, I think we do have more stars cataloged, but it's just that Space Engine has these stars more thoroughly cataloged, the ones in our own neighborhood. And as we fly further out, we have fewer stars cataloged, but you can see we have some in the galactic core. And what was the point of this was, oh yeah, so let's go take a look at the solar system again, because for good reason. So we're just going to reset the thing here. And what I wanted to do was I want to actually purposely, I want to show where we are in the galactic plane. So notice that we're looking at the top of the solar system or the bottom of the solar system, but we'll look at it from the side, and there's a reason we're doing it this way. Okay, so right there. So we're basically on a slightly slanted angle with relation to the solar system, but essentially we're flying probably along this way, right? Because you can see, we can see our spiral arm of the Milky Way. We're inside this spiral arm, either Sagittarius or Orion arm, I believe. And so we're orbiting the sun. The sun is orbiting the center of the galaxy. I know some people find it ridiculous, but we can, you know, measure parallax. We can look at other stars within our own galaxy, and we can see how we're moving with relation to them. And this has some interesting implications for time dilation. What happens if you park a spaceship outside the galaxy that isn't moving? Does that mean that time will actually go faster on the spaceship and slower inside the galaxy? Potentially, yes. So you can send a ship full of scientists outside the galaxy, have it park itself or slow down with relation to the galactic spin, and then they would come back 5 years later, or 10 years later, or 100 years later of our time, and they would have spent thousands of years researching technology for us. Now, of course, at that point, the scientists who were kindly doing scientific research for our civilization might come back and decide to conquer us instead. So that would be the downside of doing something like that. But the question now was, some person asked about the Pillars of Creation. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our planet first. And then we're going to try to find Pillars of Creation. Okay, Pillars of Creation. Then that makes sense. It's in our galaxy, right? Look, see there? So I'm going to crank down the exposure time. Oops. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. I crashed it. All right, we'll do that one more time real quick. All right, guys. I apparently hit the buttons like a frantic madman and crashed Space Engine, which makes sense. I mean, we fast forwarded Space Engine like 30,000 years into the future and 30,000 years into the past. So I'm not surprised that we crashed it. I think it did pretty well. Let's give it a round of applause. And we'll take one look at that. Because yeah, Pillars of Creation was a big deal on the Hubble. And as a matter of fact, if you go to like one of the Hubble Space Telescope websites, you can download the raw data for the Pillars of Creation. And this is where some of the people in the astrophotography, amateur astrophotography community cheat. They take pictures with their crappy telescope like I do. And then when they don't have enough raw data to build a nice composite, they go and they download some Hubble data and they add it to their raw data. And then they end up with a beautiful image. They post it on Instagram. They get a bunch of likes. But it's like, yes, you took pictures of the stars on your telescope, but the raw data for the nebula, that came from the frickin' Hubble. Totally cheating, you know? So anyway, okay, so we're gonna go back to our home planet. And then we're gonna do Pillars of Creation. And I'm so confused. What year is it? 2024. All right, good. So, where's the Pillars of Creation now? I don't even see the galaxy. Oh, wait, I know what I did. When the app crashed, it turned off the galaxy. Okay, let's try that again. Crap, don't crash me again. All right, good. I'm going to do that again. Pillars of Creation. So now, okay. I don't understand why it's not highlighted right now. Like, I'm pointing at it, but it's not highlighted. I don't understand why. So we're just going to wait. Oh, crud. Something's wrong with my something. Something's wrong. Like, I have, like, something thinks I'm holding a button down, I think. I think I'm literally having, like, an input malfunction here. And that's superbly annoying because it's not cooperating the way I'm accustomed to this. Oh, I know what. Okay, I know what I'm doing. I did something wrong. All right, let's just try to take it easy. And we're just going to fly into the Pillars of Creation and see where we go. In fact, we're just going to hit the go button. All right, so there's the Pillars of Creation as roughly seen from Earth. I don't know if it's an accurate rendition. I feel like it's not because, I mean, why can't I see it? Like, I can't see anything I'm clicking on. I think I have to close the app again. I think I messed something up. Oh, wait, I know what I did. Hold on. Oh, wait, I know what I did. Oh, there we go. I'm sorry. I disabled the selection pointer. Let's try that one more time. Okay, there we go. I'm sorry about that. Now we got it. So, let's see what we get when we fly on towards it, just gradually, all right? Did Shaz end? I don't know, but he did. I'm sorry. I hit back a foot funny bone. I hit back the back of foot funny bone. Oh, that sucks. Parallax. Green Lantern's enemy. Oh, yeah, that guy. I have a glow-in-the-dark Green Lantern comic. Look up Eagle Nebula. Yeah, I'll do that next because I know exactly what you're talking about. I think it's in the same neighborhood, but we're gonna do a direct search for Eagle Nebula too. I think there's like a trick to viewing this, but like I think like look at that's right there. Look at see. I know you're not gonna believe me, but see that horse right there? That's the horse head nebula. So let's do a thing here. We're gonna do Eagle Nebula. What is it? Oh yeah, look, we're in the right neighborhood. And it's in the Serpens constellation. So if we turn on constellations. Oh, this is what constellations look like when you fly too far away from them. Let's. So, I mean, that's the neighborhood. So, bottom line is, yeah, we don't get, like, anything terribly clear here. You know what I mean? Like, it's like we can probably, like, enter it through. Oh, now my mouse is working right? Okay, good. Like, we can sort of see it, but it definitely is taking poetic license. And for some reason, my computer is not cooperating with me. When I zoom in on Nebula, it seems to want to act all funny. Almost like it doesn't like what I'm trying to do here. Or maybe I'm doing something wrong. Let me try something here. It's interesting. I never had that buggy experience. But yeah, so that's what we see. But bottom line is we see the following. So we see a dust cloud. And being the pillars of creation, it's a stellar nursery. So although it doesn't look like the real picture, we'll pull up a quick picture real quick. Let's see. Pillars of Creation Hubble. And I bet you they took a new picture of it using one of the newer, imaging apparatuses. What's up there? What's up there, Jacob Ironside? Thanks for dropping in. Hope you're doing well. And we got like the lowest resolution image we could possibly get of this. Isn't that lovely? Like, I want to get a nice high res. I want to get the ridiculously high resolution one. Like, you could go to these Hubble websites and download like a 100 megabyte version of this. Look, I got like a 2000 by 960 resolution. That's not bad, but I want like the raw data. This is the James Webb version. And we could download a 1440. So these aren't terribly high resolution, but I guess we'll deal with it. But there's the James Webb version of it right there. So you're dealing with, like, I think just straight infrared, whereas this is visible light. Now, the Hubble Space Telescope is a lot like my telescope. You're capturing red, blue, and green separately. You're capturing hydrogen alpha and converting it to yellow instead of red. You're converting, I think, O3 into red. So red becomes yellow, blue becomes red, and I forget the rest of it. But they do kind of take liberties with the colors. Now, with the James Webb image, both of these we're seeing diffraction spikes. And so if we look at like the Hubble telescope aperture, on the front of like any telescope that has a mirror, and remember, the Hubble is really just an American spy satellite. Like, I mean, it is probably a KL-11 spy satellite that's been modified for astronomical use. And on the front of it, and of course I can't see the front of it. I just want to get a picture of the secondary mirror. Secondary. I just want one good picture of the secondary mirror in action. I mean, installed in the front. Okay, here's a good example. So on a telescope, you have like a little mirror being suspended in the front, but you'll see how like there's these struts that hold it in the front, just like the telescope we saw in the Canary Islands earlier this evening. And so the problem is that when you have this central obstruction, so same thing in this picture where you have the mirror being held up on the front, these little metal bars here that hold the mirror up, they're going to block some of the light. Because normally what's happening is light enters the telescope, it hits the mirror. The mirror is shaped like a bowl. The light forms a cone. That cone-shaped light then hits the secondary mirror, which is up here. And then it makes another cone of light that shoots down the center. There's a hole in the mirror, and that hole in the mirror is where the camera is. And so the initial light has to go through those metal bars in the front, you know, like they're everywhere. It's like secondary mirror on, telescope. We use any example. And of course, that's not showing me a picture. I want to see like why are we? Oh, here we are. Perfect. Amateur telescope. This is a great example because it allows us to see like how this works. So looks like somebody's selling parts here, but you can see right there. So like you would normally have your eyepiece up here on certain telescopes. So this is like a Newtonian where you have a mirror at a 45-degree angle. So what happens is the light from space goes through this aperture, and these things cast a little shadow, but they get blurred out. They're not in the focus. And then it bounces up, hits the secondary mirror, and then you either have your eyeball or your camera over here. Now, why am I talking about this? Because that is why you get these spikes. So on the Hubble, when you have those metal bars holding the mirror in place, they cause these spikes called diffraction spikes. And they look pretty, and they're caused for like a real reason. Sometimes people add fake diffraction spikes. Now this one I have concerns about because it's from the James Webb Space Telescope. And, oh, there we go. I can see the diffraction spikes. So, like if we do JWST diffraction spikes, you're going to get this shape over here. And that's because the James Webb Space Telescopes, it doesn't have one mirror. It has a large mirror, a segmented mirror. And basically it folds up. That's how they fit it in the payload bay in the fairing on a rocket. This is how they were able to fit it on the top of that rocket. But basically the segments can be used for other things, like for adaptive optics. They can actually make the mirrors vibrate separately to cancel out starlight, to twinkle out the twinkling, the star twinkle. So if you have twinkling stars, it'll help to compensate for the atmospheric conditions. I don't know if JWST does that, but my point is that the shadow from its secondary mirror mount, that shadow is what causes these diffraction spikes. And so you can see how we got the cross shape, but we also have this X shape superimposed onto that. And this is how you get it. And here's actually different telescope optical designs where some kind nerd put these nice pictures up. And of course, the internet's like, no, you got to open it in a picture viewer and possibly open up your prawn folder by accident. No, I'm kidding. So right here, you can see here how we got, you know, like just different types of diffraction spikes based on different types of optical systems or even different filters being used on the James Webb Space Telescope. So yeah, in fact, I think this is all just James Webb imagery. So anyway, enough of that. Does anybody have any questions before I wrap it? Hey, what up, Third Four Second? Good to see you, man. Third Four of the Second is the man. He is the most unholy person I've known ever since meeting Vitzi. Vitzi's another person who's highly unholy. But now, jokes aside, I love his show. I'm highly amused. I laugh my ass off. And, you know, like he don't give a fuck about offending anyone. And I appreciate that. He doesn't give a fuck about offending me. And I appreciate that, too. Peak optics. Indeed. I can't afford a telescope. I'm telebroke. That's all right. You could just steal one from the government, I'm sure. No, I don't know. How would you get a telescope if you didn't have money? I mean, I feel like in your part of the world, there's got to be some like socialist program where you could just tell the government you deserve one because, you know, like I'm poor. And you'd be like, hey, government, I'm poor. Give me a telescope. I'm just guessing. I don't really know how it works in the rest of the world. I mean, you know, I'm American, so we just assume the rest of the world are commies. We really don't know. But jokes aside, just seeing your stream as I head off to bed. Yeah, I got to go to bed too, Jacob Ironside. So I appreciate doubly that you tuned in. So yeah, anyway, let's see here real quick. Let's check on the telescope. No, I'm kidding. So jokes aside, okay, I got to stop saying it. I think so we got to look at Space Engine. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to wrap that up before I get myself in trouble with not sleeping. I'm offended at the offense of offending and offending offense of offending. Yeah, absolutely. I'm offended on behalf of the offended who are offending others. So it says it finished the sequence. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to close this out. And we're going to engage a semi-manual mode. So we're going to say, give me a framing shot. Stay blessed, not stressed. Oh my God, he said blessed. I'm so offended. I don't believe in mentioning God on the internet. This is a secular channel, and by saying blessed, I'm offended. Now, I remember I used to actually, I had someone thank me because I said bless you instead of God bless you, and they were like, Ron, I appreciate that you say bless you instead of God bless you. And I was like, I'm working retail at the time. I'm just trying to balance out being politically correct and whatnot, you know? How care you? That's a good one. Okay, so real quick, we need to tee up a target before I go to bed. So I'm going to lower my lights. Okay, we're going to turn off the lights so we can sing this song, Let's Get It On. And we're going to go and pick a target. So what target do we want to image tonight? Well, if the imaging conditions are clear, I would like to image the Triangulum Galaxy. And that's right over here. Now, are you going to see the Triangulum Galaxy tonight? Probably not. Because the seeing conditions are kind of questionable. So if not the Triangulum Galaxy, what target in space might we be interested in taking a look at tonight, guys? Well, let's comb the local neighborhood while the telescope is already zeroing in on the target. and see if we can find an alternative. I'm thinking maybe a star cluster. We could do like the Patrick Starfish cluster, maybe, you know, from SpongeBob SquarePants. How does that sound? I think the SpongeBob SquarePants cluster is a good idea. But before we do that, let's do a quick test run. So we're currently using a hydrogen alpha filter, and we're going to do a framing shot. Sector 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, nice try. You thought you could trick me to sit here for the next 3 hours looking for sector 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I'm sorry. 123,000. No, wait. Sector 1,234,567. Yeah, you thought you could trick me. I'm a star in my own mind, just like Lady Gaga. Right? Isn't that the movie? A Star is Born. I don't see anything. This target sucks. I want to see Beavis and Butthead use a telescope. This sucks. Oh, okay. So we know what's going on here, right, boys and girls? These are called clouds. Clouds effectively preclude our ability to even bother going any further. But because I'm a glutton for punishment, let's see how bad it is. So we're going to crank up the gain. Oh, yeah. Okay, I think we're done for tonight. Yeah, we're done for tonight. It would have worked if you put a 0.4 on it. That's the answer. Thank you, some person. That was the issue. All right, so jokes aside, I gotta stop saying that. But if I had a joke, I would make a joke and then say jokes aside. Sometimes you wait patiently. Like if tomorrow night it doesn't rain, that's what I'll do. I'll wait patiently. I'll just hang out, play a video game, and wait for this to clear up. Did it clear up? Let's take a look at the geostationary satellite imagery real quick. So we got the GOES East Sector, our friendly geostationary Earth observation satellite, and of course, we are interested in the northeast because this is New York. Hey, okay, no, I don't know. How do you say the ABCs in Brooklyn? Fucking A, fucking B. Oh shit. It might rain. I might have to go and cover up my telescope tomorrow. All right. So bottom line, yeah, clouds be trolling, seriously. So we got blue and purple. So what is blue and purple? Blue and purple is 6 and 7. We got the following. We got a high, thin ice cloud. We have a high, very thin ice cloud. And we have potentially a high, thick cloud. But basically just adding a high, thin, and a high, very thin ice cloud means that even if it was clear out tonight, an ice cloud is enough to like disrupt my imaging efforts. But in this case, we do have some real clouds. And I think that's because we got number 8. That's a thick cloud. So 8 is the purple stuff. That's a thick cloud. The blue stuff or a faint red, that wouldn't be such a problem, but it definitely would make it inconvenient to do a galaxy tonight. It would scatter the light. And galaxies and nebulae have really faint light already. That the light scattering is going to be a problem. If you have any light pollution, if you have a full moon, which I think the moon already set, that's not going to be a good time. So bottom line is I think I'm just going to wrap it up. Yeah, you can see here, like the moon is still out, so that doesn't help. So if you have light scattering, if you have thin clouds, but you can still take pictures through the thin clouds. But if you have the moon in your way, all bets are off. So with that being said, stay tuned. One of these days I might even upload a video of what we're doing right now. But for now, what we're going to do instead is we're going to park the telescope. And you might be saying, how do you park a telescope? Well, I'll show you right now. So we click on this thingy here, and we click on this other thingy here. Wait, that's not the thing. Is it this thing here? Uh-oh. What the hell did I just click? I don't even know what that button does. All right. Let's just go and get to it. So all I got to do is click on this button that says Park Telescope. We go back to the 3D model, and it's literally... Oops, I made it upside down. I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to make you guys dizzy. But bottom line is that when now... You can see it's aiming the telescope to the clouds. It's going to go into the park position, and then tomorrow morning, if I think it's going to rain... If I think it's going to rain, I can go outside and step on the step ladder and throw the cover over the top of the scope. And so, unfortunately, no automated imaging for the remainder of tonight. But I thank you guys for tuning in. And if anybody has any questions, comments, or ideas, leave a comment. And that's basically for anyone watching on the replay. If LDP is still watching, yeah, seriously though, if you watched the beginning part of the stream and you have any questions about that, or you want me to put more emphasis on a particular aspect, let me know, and I'll be happy to do that. In the meantime, we're going to take the computer, we're going to put it into high performance mode so that the computer generates its own heat as opposed to running so cold. And with that being said, I do want to thank everyone for tuning in. And back in reverse order, I want to thank Third for the second, Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips, Awesome One, Some Person, the Peter Venkman fan site, who will soon potentially be perhaps give me a blessing on the Peter Venkman fan site. I would like to make that Venkman fan site. And then, Jacob Ironside, he's got great content, cool dude too. We got David Glenn, Slim Nim, he's got great content. LCX has fire content, and LCX does it every weekday while I'm at work. So I have something to tune into while I'm at work. So I do appreciate that. And what else do we have here? Who else do we have? We have James. Did I mention James? I did not mention James. LDP right up here. Yeah, we had LDP here, of course. Let me see. I think that covers just about everyone. Oh, yeah, we had Stream Elements here. Stream Elements is a pretty cool dude. We had Pacific 414, definitely a cool dude. We had Adega Outlaw, and tune into his show on Sundays if you want to hear him reading chapters out of his own original work. Because that's right, Adega writes his own original work. And I think that basically covers everybody. Yeah, I think it really does cover everybody. So yeah, we're actually all set. And real quick, I do want to just drop a link to LCX's channel. So I'm just going to put the letters LCX over here like that. And we are golden. Oh, and you know what? Because Third 4 tuned in late and has been so kind to say things in the chat. And that's a funny picture. Yeah, that's worth every second of my time to look at that picture. I gotta watch that video here. I'm gonna add that to my playlist right now. Yo, I was cracking mad off-color Vacada jokes when that shit happened. I was like, saying like, look, man, I'm jealous of Vacada, man. I wish I could have a chick under my desk giving me a blowjob. What the hell, man? Like that guy's not going downhill. He's like got a girl under his desk and he's railing lines. Actually, it's kind of downhill. I mean, like he said, like literally, Third 4 has it in the title. Vacada exposed feeding crack to his own kids, and I mean, kids. It was detected in their bodies. Now, maybe it wasn't fed to them, but they fucking came into contact with this stuff. That is a child welfare endangerment issue right there. But enough on that. I wish I had some foreplanning to crack some jokes about the Vacada situation, but I think we're good on that for now. So yeah. Why am I putting a hyphen in your name? All right there. And we are now Gucci. All right. So with that being said, if this button would catch up with me. For anybody watching on the replay, if you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave a comment. Please consider liking and subscribing. If you dislike the video, please leave a comment. Your feedback counts. And for now, we shall end transmission. And indeed, poor kids. I mean, seriously, the kids were fucking hungry. Like, they show up for school hungry. And kids don't bitch about that stuff unless they're actually feeling hunger pangs. I mean, like, you could at least hire a fucking nanny and pretend not to be a crackhead while your kids could pretend to have real parents. But enough on that. Maybe we'll rant about that next week. Next week will be the last show before I go to the great state of Texas, the Lone Star Republic, where I will be attending SpaceCon, and I will finally get to see the Punk Waddle puppet and his human operator. But the puppet itself, I'll get to actually interact with the Punk Waddle puppet. I'm looking forward to that. Like, I'm literally an awesome one. I'm literally going to touch the puppet. Like, I just want to be able to say I touched that puppet so that when I watch it on stream in the future, I know that, I came into contact with the Punk Waddle puppet. And plus, I mean, I'll shake everyone's hand. But anyway, thanks for watching. And pick me up, DJ. Pick you up where? Oh, okay, yeah, I'll put you in my carry-on luggage. Just got to turn into a ball. So I'm gonna possibly get a soft duffel bag so that I can squeeze you into the, the overhead compartment. So I got you covered. I'll pick you up on my way to Texas. Be ready, 10 a.m. on Wednesday, because I need to show up at the airport like 2 or 3 hours early. I'm trying to get myself a exit row. So with that being said, thanks for watching, and we shall now hereby officially end transmission.